Hello. How are we all? Can you hear me? Yeah, cool. My microphone is procking again. Yay. How we all doing? It's not the same as the thumbnail. It's almost like those pictures were taken months ago. Actually, I do need to get some with a red hat. How are you all feeling about 319's release? If it's red, it's dead, but I'm wearing a red hat, Stoney. .319's been okay-ish? Okay. Yeah, Blake, that was painful, those 30Ks, and after hearing about you guys getting that, what was it, finding that C2 full of barrel, and then 30K once you've almost finished loading it up, that was painful. Live Live has got the infinite inventory bug. Well, at least you guys are able to log into the game. Like, what was it, Toe Cutter had the 19K error for 318, so first time playing in months. Who was it? Jack Axton. I don't know. Most of you should know who Jack Axton is. He's currently suffering from, what is it, the 30,019 error, which is a account error, which means that he can't log in. So, but because CIG has account repairing disabled, he can't fix it. So he can't log in and play on his main account. Do we have a bug with missing trams too? I avoid the trams as much as possible. It's possible that on different servers the trams are missing. My advice, Zackle, is if you ever encounter missing trams, just change servers immediately. Try and get a fresh one. Account repairing wipes accounts right now? Shit. Man. That is not cool. You got a 30K an hour ago and still can't get back in? Toe Cutter, just turn your microwave off, mate. Alright, it's the microwave, you know, EM signals that are coming from your microwave are disrupting your Wi-Fi and your Ethernet and the electricity in your house, and that's what's causing your 30Ks. Has nothing to do with the server-side error with CIG. Oh, Dingo. Good Dingo. Yeah, I wouldn't say that it's kind of unacceptable. I'd just say it's fucking flat out unacceptable. Especially Jack. Like, he's done a lot. You know, he's one of the very few people that's been invited to the Evocati based on skill. They were more than happy, you know, to join, you know, get data out of him, get, you know, his thoughts out of him, and when he's like, hey, can you fix my account so I can, you know, continue playing the game, your tech demo, it's, you know, they're like, oh, sorry, mate, our account repairing's broken right now. So, yeah. Like, obviously CIG is going to be working on it, man, but fuck. Like, you'd think they'd give that a little bit of a higher priority, especially going into Invictus Week. Like, 319 for trade is like how 318 was us for piracy. And one of the, you know, the big players within the trade game, and I say big players, like, he's notorious for trade. You know, he did the state of trade for close to 12 months when it was somewhat viable. And it could be coming back because of what's going on with 319 and the fact that all the server side, all the commodity data is now server side. So somebody has to go and look, you know, and somebody, we need people reporting on that shit now. We need that information being told. And it's like, you know, he was one of those, he was the content creator that was doing that, you know, and now he's in this bullshit position. Like, yeah, he's got an alt account that he can use, but he shouldn't have to do that. You know? Shouldn't have to do that at all. No one should. No one should have to buy a second account just to be able to play their game. So cut, are you 30k'd with a loaded barrel? We may have found that loaded barrel. I don't think so though. Like, we have actually been finding a lot of ships just full of cargo, just abandoned. You think he was told to wait until 3.20? Like, unless they're fucking releasing it after Invictus Week, like, well, you know, for me it'd be, unless they're releasing it tomorrow, that is unacceptable. Like, that's fucked. If he did get told that, that is bullshit. I'd like to think that CIG has a little bit more presence of mind than to say, hey, you know, you're just gonna have to wait for the next patch, you know, 3.20. Man, I feel sorry for Jack. Like, I think maybe we should write a Spectrum post about this. Maybe we should write a Spectrum post about this. Put this in front of the entire community. The problem that I have is, like, right now, Spectrum's full of fucking, you know, people whinging about bullshit things like, oh, you know, fucking reclaim timers are too long and prison sentences are too long and all this sort of stuff. And it's like, you know, if you didn't realize that that was going to happen, you're kind of kidding yourself, really. Like, it was going to happen eventually, and CIG feels comfortable enough at this current point in time to do that. Now, I think the state of the game, we can handle it. What I don't think it's acceptable, though, is that we haven't got people who haven't been able to play Star Citizen, you know, accounts that they're paid for, and they're being told, you're just going to have to wait. Like, for how long? We'd like a deadline on this one. You know, an approximate time frame, or, you know, use the many communication platforms to inform the community, hey, this is a problem that we've, you know, identified. We're going to work towards keeping you updated on how we're fixing this. Hey, so we've got a Taurus full of barrel. Nice. And, well, oh man, if you needed rhinos, I picked up a whole bunch yesterday during the NA ops. Actually, I think I lost one. I got 3 in the back of my Cutlass Blue. Yeah, finding fully loaded ships is simply salvage tier 2. 100% Dingo. 100% man. It's kind of like, it's almost making piracy, you know, I wouldn't say pointless, but, you know, the secondary activity that we've been doing a lot lately. It's like we're just floating around looking for something to pirate, and we'll come across a ship, and if it's got something worth taking, we just crack it open and, you know, remove it. Best guns are stolen guns. Yeah, man. Blake, pretty much the vocal minority that lives on Spectrum that complains about timers are pretty much the people that are like just sitting there going, anything longer than 5 seconds to them is too long. Like, they're still not understanding of the point that, you know, having the ships actually means something, means that getting those ships back is going to be more difficult. They didn't even give his alt account access to the content creator servers. If they're going to do anything with his alt account in terms of content creation, they just give him access to a few ships. But yeah, I don't think there's actual content creator servers. They all play on the same servers as everyone else. Unless we've been put on fucking content creator servers and just didn't know. Which is possible. CIG doesn't talk to us. Well, some of them do, but it's not in an official capacity. 9 times out of 10 when we've got somebody that works for CIG talking to us, it's just, you know, a chat. Nothing really to do with Star Citizen. He could, but he shouldn't have to. And this is the point, is like, nobody should have to use any crazy workarounds to, you know, deal with CIGs making changes and then using iterative development to go, oh, well, you know, like, we're going to resolve that in the future, so we're not going to work on it now. It's like, as much as, you know, people like to sit there and say, oh, you pledged for Star Citizen. No, we bought, you know, copies of the game and we purchased ships. Like, there was a transaction and we got something in return for it. Now, you know, it's all done under the understanding that the game is still being built, but we're still customers. And we should be getting treated with a bit more respect than being told, oh yeah, sorry about that, you'll be able to play the game later, that thing that you've paid, you know, potentially thousands of dollars for. And then that's the thing, they're scared. He's not, like, it's not stopping him from doing it because he's got his alt account, but I don't think he wants to go through that entire process, and I don't think he should have to either. Now, you know, like, I personally think that this needs to get more exposure on Spectrum, like this particular issue, because it doesn't only affect Jack. There's heaps of other people that it affects. It's just, you know, to see that, like, Jack, I wouldn't say that he got special treatment, but he was given recognition for what he had done. Yeah, like, he had worked out how to make, what was it, 1 million credits in less than 6 hours without using an exploit, based on how they had the state of trade set up. And, you know, he showed CIG how to do it, and, you know, his process and everything, and they invited him to the Evocati for it. Not many people get that. You know, it's very rare that you hear about somebody getting invited to the Evocati based on their skill. Normally it's based on, well, from what we're told, it's based on issue council reports, you know, playtime, you know, that sort of jazz. Whereas Jack had been doing all that, but then he'd also, you know, done all the extra trade stuff too, and they invited him to the Evocati for it. So in my mind, if somebody's getting invited to the Evocati because of the contribution that they made to the game that they're building, you'd think that they would at least, you know, go, all right, this guy is actually a bit more valuable, you know, to us if he's able to play on his main account, you know, with all the resources needed. And if, you know, they can't fix that account, then give the alt account that he's got the resources required so that he can, you know, so that he can continue doing the testing that he's doing. Just went from player unstowed to select primary home mate. That may be of... I'd personally try logging out, logging back in before selecting a new primary home, man. Just to see if it comes up again. Because the way what you just described could potentially be a back-end account reset, which I doubt. I'm not even listening to this music, so, you know, sometimes I go on rant. rants, and the music doesn't fit, and sometimes it does. Yeah, I think we should write a Spectrum post. We'll see how we're doing at the end of this, towards the end of the stream, and yeah, we'll do it live. I'll jump into Spectrum and I'll start writing something out. But I think that's enough of a chinwag to start off with, guys. We're gonna move straight into the reaction. So you might have noticed Dobbs isn't here. He's on a break. He's taking some time away. Yeah, Blake, I go on rants during my rant stream, but you know, it's also reactions, and that's the next thing that we're moving on to. Dobbs is taking a break, so I'm flying solo tonight. I haven't even bothered going into Gilded channel there. We're going to be reacting to 4 YouTube videos, and depending on how things go, we may end up doing a Spectrum post too. Alright, so the first video that we're going to be reacting to is the most recent Inside Star Citizen, and this reaction scene wasn't set up properly because I was in a rush. So let's make sure that I get the correct window. There we go. You know, once upon a time in OBS you couldn't do that. I'd have to shut down the entire stream, select the window that I wanted to stream, then reopen the stream or start streaming again. Alright. So, what we're going to be reacting to here is Inside Star Citizen Get Furious. Most of you have probably already watched it. I haven't yet. I kind of skimmed through it. I got the screenshot that makes up the thumbnail. I pulled a screenshot from the actual video itself, or from the Inside Star Citizen, but I didn't actually watch the thing. I kind of just scrubbed through it until I found a cool looking, you know, screenshot. So, let's find out about Star Citizen's new fighter, the Mongrel Fury.
Invictus is here, and for the next 2 weeks, we'll be learning and showcasing as much as we can about the new ships and vehicles.
What the fuck is going on there? Is it buffering?
Making their debut at this year's event.
Not anymore.
Since there's nothing that I can say that's anywhere as cool as what you're about to see, let's just get right to it, shall we?
We have a lot of ships and vehicles in our game now. Keeping brands with a consistent theme is important because it helps immerse you in the universe. You see a ship of a certain style and role and you go, that's that manufacturer. So having brands and sub-brands or entirely different brands helps strengthen that narrative. MISC is traditionally very industrial, very civilian, and we really like MISC styling as a brand. It made sense to introduce Mirai as their performance subdivision.
There's a lot of possibilities for where we can take this brand in the future. And not only will Mirai be heading in new directions design-wise, it's also a great opportunity to go in unsafe directions that maybe MISC wouldn't have done themselves. Kind of blending of human and Xi'an technology already in MISC, and one of their charges is going to be taking it even farther.
With the introduction of Mirai as a brand, this gave us the perfect opportunity to introduce a more military fighter to the lineup, and so we introduced the Mongrel Fury. The Mongrel Fury is extremely compact. It allows itself to fold up into as small a package as we could possibly make a ship of this classification.
The Fury is a cockpit with some engines, some components, and some weapons strapped to it, to put it bluntly.
So the Mongrel Fury aims to take everything that makes Xi'an super impressive with all of its grav tech and ability to gimbal thrusters and be super maneuverable. It has really cool folding wings that allows you to get it into tiny ships.
So if you have a ship with a cargo grid or an area for cargo that's large enough and a door big enough to fit it in, you can get the ship on board and helps provide on-demand support from any...
Wait. That's a fucking Valkyrie and they're putting a Fury in there. This is what, from what I've heard, the speeds are like 1200 meters a second. Like that's max speed. I'm not sure about SCM though. But this is something that people have been wanting for fucking years. And it's not really the fighter It's more the ability to have pocket carriers. And that's what this fighter presents, is the ability for people to get around in a big ship with a bunch of fighters in it and then deploy all those fighters. And I don't know about anybody else, but this is the fucking Star Citizen TIE fighter. You know, we've got the Scorpius, which is a Star Citizen X-Wing, and this is the Star Citizen TIE fighter.
The attacks that you may find yourself coming under whilst out in deep space.
Some might look at this and say the Morai theory reminds them of another popular spacecraft. What would you say to that?
I don't know what they're talking about.
So when you approach the Fury, you'll first notice this big glass dome that gives you massive visibility, and then the seat will pop out and come and present itself to you, a little bit like the Asperia Talon. So you get to look at this massive glass canopy, which is super helpful for the pilot. And when it's in like its collapsed mode, you get to see all the different underneath parts of the wing with all like the nose step on it, where the maintenance guys would have to step on. You've got the component bays coming out the side of the body. Everywhere you go, there's just components everywhere. It's crazy how densely packed this thing is together. You've got air-to-air refueling port on the top. You've got all your personal storage.
They actually put air-to-air refueling in
at the back as well. We can't wait to get atmospheric flight in, so those things can work for you. The lights on the end of the wingtips as well that will blink intermittently, so they'll swap around. So when you're in transform mode, they'll kind of like switch which one's going. Alex did an amazing job on that. All around the back, these thrusters kind of presenting themselves to you in their gravity cradle that will flip up and down depending on whether it's landed or not. When you're in atmosphere, you'll notice the bottom ones move more than the top, but once you're in space, that flips around. It's so maneuverable. You're constantly going to be throwing it around in directions it shouldn't be. You're like pulling stupid amounts of G-forces. So having that visibility is going to be really important, and it's something we tried our best not to compromise on.
The view from the cockpit allows you to see pretty much the whole picture of combat ahead of you. You have fantastic agility to maneuver yourself around threats, and it just looks really cool. Just the cockpit picture you have with the guns in your view all the time, firing away, missiles launching right.
Just want to scroll back a little bit. So there's one of the things that glare there.
Cool. Just the cockpit picture you have with the
see if I can
guns in your view all the time,
right
firing
time.
away.
I hope those guns are far away enough that when you're fighting in dark spaces, like, you know, in space on the dark side of a moon or planet, that the fire from those guns doesn't wash out your point of view. Like, I look at this and I'm like, yeah, that's really cool. You can see the guns firing, but one of the problems I've had a lot with guns that I can see that are firing in front of me is that the red flashing, or, you know, whatever color weapons I'm using, normally washes out my screen when I'm trying to aim at something. Normally washes out the fucking UI. So I go from being able to see what I'm shooting at and trying to aim at it, and then next thing I've got all this bloody extra light that's illuminating my UI and washing it out. And that's actually one of the concerns looking at this particular, you know, reference here. You have a look, like, you got the point of view, it's an over shoulder point of view, but the entire, like, if you can see my mouse cursor on the right hand side, all of that UI is being washed out. So I'm curious. I'm going to get in this thing and fly it around. I'm probably going to pick one up too. I'm pretty sure this is going to be one of the most popular ships that CIG will ever sell, purely because it just looks like a fucking cool thing to fly. But there's going to be the same issues that I think is going to pop up when it comes to UI washing out because of guns being in front of it. Let's keep watching.
Missiles launching right next to your head. It's a truly unique experience compared to our other ships.
We really tried to keep the HUD as minimal as possible. That was something I spent a lot of time in white box designing, like the layout of it and stuff. And we ended up settling on like just like a small kind of like glass transparent panel of all the MFDs and the radar at the top. The flight controls fold out of the armrest. There's a lot going on for people flying this ship. So the last thing we want is to, like, you know, overthrow you with buttons. Area to actually shoot is tiny, right? This thing's like a real glass cannon. It's got such a dominating small profile. You probably look at it come towards you like, oh, what is that? You know, it feels like a wasp, but you'll probably hear it hit you before you realize what it is. The profile of this, it's so aggressive. It's like these massive triangle shapes, but it's still got that misc kind of flow to it. So one of the things I cannot wait to see is...
It's a fucking TIE interceptor. It's a fucking TIE interceptor shape. Which I'm glad. Like, I'm really happy that they've done this. But, yeah, like, you look at that shape there, it is damn near a fucking TIE interceptor. All they did was just shift the engines from, instead of it being in the back, in the middle, they just shifted them onto the wings. A derpy interceptor. It's going to be a derpy interceptor that, buddy, is going to just... It's going to become a frustration for a lot of people. Especially if you're dealing with solo people and larger ships. And the profile of it is so small, too, that you're going to be able to avoid incoming fire pretty well, and if it's maneuverable enough, you're just going to run rings around most people. And when it comes to flight combat, accuracy matters a lot, and maneuverability is the counter to that accuracy. They kind of do both Tokata when it comes to ships. So this one, I think is just something that they just wanted to do. This one just comes across as, like, people want a pocket carrier, fighter. They want to turn their ships into pocket carriers. We've been doing it for fucking years now, and now we've got the opportunity to have a fighter that people would actually want to use. Because you got the was it the P-52 and the P-72? You got both of those that you can use, and they're still not used as much because they don't have the punch. Like, they're small, they can move fast, but if you put them up against a light fighter, that light fighter, even with a moderately competent pilot, is going to beat that P-52 or P-72. Like, it starts coming down to the skill level of the pilot. If you get a really good pilot in those ships against a moderately competent pilot, they're still going to struggle. Whereas I see this thing, and I'm like, you put a competent pilot, or, a skilled pilot in this, and put them up against a moderately competent pilot in a light fighter. The skilled, highly skilled pilot in the Fury is probably going to win. I think the P-52 and P-72 are longer and have a, what is it? They're longer and have, I think they're going to have a wider beam, because you can put this Fury in places where you can't put a P-52 or a P-72. Like, what was it? They showed it in the back of a Valkyrie earlier on. You can fit a P-52 in the back there. And a P-72 from memory, but you can only fit one, whereas it looks like you could fit probably 2 of these things in there. I know we'd have to do more testing for it, but a lot of people don't bother with the Valkyrie because of its speed. But yeah, I see this thing, and what was it? Somebody was like saying that it was the size of a rock, which means, maybe you could fit it in a Cutlass. I don't know. There's one on the Nomad. Yeah, I saw that picture too. Like, you could put one on the back of a Nomad. You can't do that with a P-52 or 72 because it ends up hanging off the end of it. Whereas this thing is compact enough. I'd say that this ship probably has a taller front profile than what the Merlin and the Archimedes have, the P-52 and P-72. But in terms of like the top-down profile and the side profiles, I'd say that top-down profile, this has it smaller. Side profile, this is probably bigger, but it's still compact. It doesn't fit in the Cutlass. I think if we shave some of the wings off, we might be able to make it work. Alright, let's keep watching.
When I'm stood on like Daymar or something and I look up and see like 5 of these things whiz past me at stupid speed, it's just really satisfying to see this silhouette flying around, whether you're in it or on the floor looking up.
The Fury chassis is designed to support multiple variants, and we're exploring these over time. But we are introducing an additional variant alongside the base version at Invictus Launch Week. The Fury MX takes the core of the base Fury and simply replaces all the guns with all the missiles.
The amount of missiles on the wings is just stupid. I remember being told how many we were going to be putting on it, and I did everything I could to make sure everything that was supposed to be a size 2 stayed a size 2. I think we've got 20 missiles on it now, and only I think it's 8 of them are size 1s, so yeah, have fun with that.
It's the absolute
Thing is those size 2 mounts there, they'd be 212s. So fits on a size 2 missile mount, carries 1 size 2 missile. That's what the numbering convention is. Then you got bloody 221s. So it's a size 2 missile mount that fits 2 size 1 missiles. So it's got 12 size 2 missile mounts on it, 3 per wing. If you put 221s on it, the missile mounts, the 221 missile mounts on it, you go from 12 size 2 missiles to 24 size 1s. Whether or not we can do that, I don't know. But, you could go from having 20 missiles to, 32 on this thing? They're all size 1s, but it's that situation there where it's holy fuck, you're just missile spamming. And yeah, you're right, the MX has no guns at all. It just has the missiles.
Nova damage variant. This thing is designed to put out the maximum amount of damage in as short a period of time as possible.
On top of all the missiles, we also add a deployable blast shield, which provides additional armor to the front of the ship, whilst reducing visibility as the trade-off for that.
We really wanted to make this variant feel different, and that's exactly what we've got here with the blast shield. I just think it's awesome the way it comes down. We got the little mirror.
Mate, Blue Manx, you want to have 1 size 4 on it? You are the size 4 missile. So after you finish, I said 32 size 1s, but it's 32 size 1s and 1 size 4, and that size 4 is you. You become the missile. Self-guided and everything. I was wondering about this, how they were gonna, cover or show you what you could see with the blast shield up. You're the size 12. You're not a size 12 in this thing, mate. Alright. It's okay. It's the motion, not the ocean. It's okay.
Eye boot screen as well, taking some of the inspiration from some of the more alien manufacturers as well, and it really gives it that kind of alien vibe. You can tell Xi'an Tech's been involved with it when you look at it when its blast shield's down. It's got all these cool sensors on the outside. It just looks utterly terrifying, and it's awesome.
So the MX is designed to launch from the parent craft, do 1 or more multiple missile attacks on larger crafts. So you launch, you commit to your run, deploy your blast shield down, launch your payload, and then get out of dodge and return. And utilizing all the tractor beam improvements in.
So this just got me thinking about the Rattlers. This is so dumb. So the Rattlers, they have 8 warheads in them, I'm pretty sure, per missile. The Rattlers are size 2. You can carry 12 size 2 missiles on it. So you've got 12 Rattlers, you fire them off, 8 times 12, you're looking at 96 rockets. And then if you roll with 3 of them, you go from 96 to what? 288? 288 fucking rockets? 288 rockets from 3 Mirais. The servers are gonna crash. The servers are just gonna crash, man. Oh, it's gonna be great. This is how Care Bears will fight back. They'll be like, buddy, They start getting attacked by pirates. They deploy 3 Mirai bloody missile variants, all equipped with rattlers, and they all fire them at the same time. Server crashes. I would say 30k protection kicks in, but we all know that's broken. So, yeah, but the pirates don't win. Remember that. Oh. Honestly, like, I actually like it, and I think John Crew's about to talk about it, but with the new tractor beam, you know, like being able to, tractor beam tech where we're able to rearm missiles manually, like, you could literally have these things deploy, like have a like a C2 or even an M2 carrying around, like I'd say 3 or 4 of these things, and then you'd have just a stockpile of missiles behind them, and then, well, not behind them, but you'd have it off to one side, and you just use the C2, you know, the Herc, as like a pocket carrier where they come in through one end, land, quickly rearm them, and then they take off and keep going out the front. To be honest, like, I really want to use these things for piracy ops just to see how they go. Like, just the Fury itself. Just, I was talking about this with the guys in Mongrel Squad, and I'm like, this is just like, this ship is just like an angry bee, and you're just releasing a swarm of angry bees to go smash things. I fucking love it.
Alpha 319, you can then rearm the ship and repeat to your heart's content. So the Fury is designed to compete against some of our most agile and capable fighters, such as the Arrow and the Gladius. It does that by being much more agile than those, as well as being a smaller form. It does have limitations there. It doesn't have a quantum drive, so its range is sort of limited around planetary bodies.
Yeah, it's Metroxus.
And ideally it is carried within other ships.
The Fury doesn't have a quantum drive
killed an X-Wing
because there's not room. If we tried to put a quantum drive in this thing, it would have doubled the size of it, and then it wouldn't have fit in as many ships as it can.
No, it killed another X-Wing.
It's faster, it's more heavily armed, it's got everything going for it.
My favourite thing about the Mirai Fury is definitely the thrusters.
We've managed to get fully 180-degree rotating main thrusters, meaning that we don't have specific retros. This also means that it's got much more efficiency when it comes to turning and strafing and all sorts of flight maneuvers, because it can put its main thrust in pretty much whichever direction it needs to go.
They are a great ship to bring along as a sort of defensive package to allow you to react to threats coming at you, or launch very short-range attacks on other ships.
I imagine people who are using like eye trackers, or like, you know, they're really like on it, like looking around, trying to see what's coming up. It's going to be super useful for them, because you're in dogfights constantly in this thing.
Ideally, you would bring multiple of these, and because of their size, you can load.
This is where I got the thumbnail screenshot from. I saw this and I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's a carrack hanger, and it's got 3 of these things in it. Like, what is it? That's 2 regular Furies and missile variant. No, they're all regular Furies. Yeah, they're all regulars. But yeah, like, I just look at this and it's like, you can't do that with the P52 if you, or the P72. If you're doing that, you need to like position them, what was it, top to tail? So, and, you know, alternate them to try and even fit that many. I think you only get 2 in there. Maybe 3. Yeah, that's the thing with Troximus. You guys aren't allowed to. That's not going to stop us. I'm actually expecting now that we're going to see machinimas where they're like reenacting Star Wars scenes, and they're going to be using this thing and fucking the Scorpius. That said though, like, I seriously expect a Scorpius that it really should be shredding these things apart. Yeah, I look at that configuration there, I reckon we could probably fit 4. You might not be able to use one of the doors to get in there, but I reckon you can fit 4.
quite a lot in quite a lot of our other ships.
A lot of players and a lot of people like to bandy around the words pocket carrier. Well, this is the ship for the pocket carrier. This is the ship that will fill the pocket carrier. It's the pocket fighter.
In a fleet engagement, the Fury sort of takes on that very typical sci-fi trope of the larger fleet engagement starts, a ship opens its doors and all these fighters pour out of it. It is so small and compact that really bringing lots of them is no disadvantage to yourself. You just launch them all out of the ship and they just cause merry havoc.
Just being able to do that will be fucking cool. Just like, you know, have your ship come in, flying over, looking ominous, and then all of a sudden, you know, all the little angry bees come spilling out. That said though, like, it looks cool right there, but you gotta remember, you gotta put people in those ships. And you gotta deal with the physics grid issues that we've got. You know, then there's somebody there that's like, you know, desyncs from everybody else because of lag, because they're playing from fucking Australia and we're all on an EU server, so we're dealing with 330 millisecond ping. And what they see and what everybody else sees is slightly different enough that you end up clipping one of the Mirais and the next thing, a chain reaction, the fucking entire ship goes up and you just lost an hour and a half's worth of work. Not that I'm being cynical. It's just, that's the reality of what we're going to experience until we see the servers stabilize. So we would need to, if we wanted to do that sort of stuff, be a bit more realistic with expectations. And whilst we can fit, I don't know how many Furies, I'd say like, you know, 10 to 20, we'd probably err on the side of caution and, you know, go from maybe, you know, between 9 to 15. But, you know, you got to remember, you got to get all those people on at the same time, at the same place, with their ships, land inside. And then if you've got a bunch of, you know, the missile variants, you're going to want extra missiles. And those have to be physicalized, which from my understanding, we're still not able to pull them out of the inventory and put them into physical space. So we need to create a stockpile of missiles that is in physical space, stored on the cargo grid of the ship first, which means you're equipping them onto ships, flying them out, removing them in the C2, and then sending that same ship back to get stored, re-equip more missiles, and fly back out, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, and if it's a bunch of pirates, you do need to stop them from fucking around, because they're going to grab some of those missiles and start pretending that they're fucking planes. And then one of them's going to smack one of the Mirais, and it's going to cause enough of a chain reaction that next thing the ship fucking goes up. That's not going to stop me from trying, though. Like, I like the caterpillar concept. I think we're going to see that here.
I really want like aircraft carrier vibes off this thing, and at events like Xenothreat or Jump Town, you'll just be sat on the ground looking up, defending it, and see this kind of normal sized ship coming towards you and you think, oh, we can deal with that. And then just Furies come flying from all directions at you and you just don't know where to shoot. And like all your ground to air defenses are like stretched because there's so many small targets fleeting around you. I just can't wait to see what the community does with this ship.
That's a Mad Max reference.
This ship has a big place in my heart as it's the first vehicle I've worked on here at CIG. I had so much fun designing like all the intricate details and how it would fold away and how it would all transform when it's in deployed mode. And I was so like impressed and amazed by how everyone from all the different departments brought it together. So it was like this massive moving, everything just seems to be moving constantly when you fly it around. And it really feels like it's alive almost, and it's really satisfying to just see how it comes over. And I can't wait to work on more ships that give me that feeling.
And hopefully everyone is excited about the Fury as we are internally. It's been probably one of the most favoured ships internally during its development. Then we'll look at doing some more variants in the future.
So what did we learn this week? Well, we learned Mirai is making one heck of a first impression with the new Fury, that there are 2 variants making their debut at this year's event, and that good things sometimes do come in small packages, and that if there ever was a ship that punched above its weight class, this would pretty much be the one. I said the thing. Now, don't forget that Invictus Launch Week starts proper tomorrow, with all the festivities you're used to returning alongside with it. How many F8 Lightnings are going to be stolen this year? We really want to know. Well, I mean, because I definitely don't have anything wagered in that office pool that we definitely don't have going. And of course, enjoy the improved new player experience,
Sounds like a
lore
challenge.
build, tractor beam improvements, mining updates, new missions, and everything else the recently released Alpha 3.19 has to offer. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. Thanks for exploring the process of game development with us, and we'll see you all here next week.
Still got like another 30 seconds. What's going
Yeah,
on?
but in Wrath Squadron, the fifth book in the series, they had them as an optional upgrade. And then in Avenger Squadron in the expansion pack for the game, they had them too. So, what I'm saying is, can we? Please?
So what he's talking about there is the expanded universe for the Star Wars Rogue Squadron book series, which bloody has been around for a couple of decades now. The fifth book in the Rogue Squadron series is Wrath Squadron, or Wraith Squadron, where Wedge Antilles creates, pretty much, he took the concept of Rogue Squadron, which was a group of highly skilled combat pilots, and then had them doing clandestine missions in association with the high risk missions that they were doing. Well, with Wraith Squadron, he flipped it on its head, and what he wanted was a group of special forces, rebel special forces, to take on the role of combat pilots. And they would be doing almost the same type of missions as what Rogue Squadron was sent to do. It's just that their mission sets would be based more on, the fighters are kind of in addition. They're just an extra tool that they use, whereas for Rogue Squadron, that's how they did their missions. So it's interesting that he brings that up, because he's asking for something that has something to do with those books, and then he brings up, what was it, Rogue Squadron or Avenger Squadron? I need to listen to this, because this is potentially a clue on what we're going to get in the future. Or it could just be him just memeing.
But in Wrath Squadron, the fifth book in the series, they had them as an optional upgrade. And then in Avenger Squadron in the expansion pack for the game, they had them too. So, what I'm saying is, can we? Please?
I'm just trying to think of what he's talking about there. I'd have to read through the books to see what they add, because there's quite a few different concepts that they add within the Rogue Squadron series books. Uglies is one of them, which was blended ships of TIE fighter bodies with X-wing wings and engines on them. So yeah, it's interesting. I think he is just memeing. I don't know what, I need to read through the books to try and work out, get an idea of what he was talking about there, but who knows? A meme can always become a dream. And then it can become a reality. So it was interesting. What do you guys think of the new Fury? Actually, here's a good time. Let's engage with my audience. Let's do a poll. Let's ask, who is buying a Fury? Me. No, thank you. There we go, poll time. Who's buying a Fury? Based on what you've seen. Oh, wow. It's already bloody... I'm not surprised by the results so far. How much do you guys think it'll cost? 30 to 60? Yeah, I reckon around that. Like, I'd be surprised if it cost more than an arrow, considering it doesn't have a quantum drive on it, but considering its capabilities of what they've just shown, I'd price it more than the P72, which from memory is like $35 US. So the P72, and it doesn't come with a quantum drive, isn't as capable in terms of flight combat characteristics. Last fighters, yeah, actually, that's right, they did. That was one of the things that they ended up adding to TIE fighters. It was retrofitted so that they could actually jump. Like, it's going to come down to price for me more than anything else, but I'm definitely going to pick up at least one, purely so that I've got my own Fury. I've got an M2 as a loaner, depending on how many people, you know, pick them up in game or from the store. When it gets released, you know, we may end up just doing piracy ops from an M2 for a while. We'll still need a Mantis, so what we'd probably end up doing is still having a Mantis and Cutlass Blue, some other fighters, but I think it's kind of handy to have like a large cargo ship when you're doing piracy ops just floating around with you. And if we can put some fighters in it, I think that would help out a lot. LTI, well, it's its first release, even if it's coming out of concept. It'll come with LTI for war bond sales. You reckon it'll be 35, Dingo? I'm thinking it'll be roughly 45 to 50. That's my thoughts on it. Can you land a Mantis on a carrack? Not anymore. You used to be able to. You could definitely do it for an 890 though. But that ship just burns through fuel. It's ridiculous. Build butts, 100%. That is exactly what I'm doing. And I'm trying to get statistics for CIG so that they know how much they can fleece us all for. Yeah, Dingo, that's the thing, is like it doesn't come with quantum travel, and that's why like I wouldn't be surprised if they went for the $50 mark straight off the bat. Like you could get a 100i series like it was a 125A, but I don't think it's as capable. But part of the pricing model that they use is capability that it presents too, and you know, we can shove a whole bunch of, you know, Furies into a larger ship and essentially turn any ship that's capable of carrying cargo into a pocket carrier. Same price as an Ursa or a Rock? I reckon it would be closer to the price of an Ursa. That's why I was saying 50. One of the things that I'd like to be able to do though is like as you're like flying along is like deploying these fighters out of the ship, you know, on the move, and then having them land in a ship on the move. So, you know, practicing with you know, a Herc and, you know, like essentially keeping the central cargo section free of any sort of, you know, cargo or anything like that, just so that Furies can land, pick up and take off again. Yeah. Yeah, Stoney, I think you'll be able to do that. Boarding team, except they're all in Furies? Yes. That's probably how we're going to operate. So you can target landing areas. That's actually a really good point, Blake. You could have, you know, a few Furies sitting in a Carrack, or even a Herc, and just have them, you know, go over and over again. We need a version with tractor beams. That's actually a good point. You know, they're talking about variants there. You could have a variant that, you know, got tractor beams on the end, and it's just there to move cargo. You know, it just picks up, was it, you know, 16 or 32 SUU boxes, and it's just there to grab a box, move it somewhere else. I never said if it would fit inside a Starfarer. I imagine it will. I guess it depends on the entrance, because you can fit Merlins in there, or you can fit Piece 52 and 72s in there. It is, Stony, and that's why I think, like, it's still possible that it could fit in there, because you can fit an Ursa in there. You can put a rock in there too. So it should be able to fit that way, but only one way we're really going to know. Alright, I'm going to keep that poll open until we hit 50 votes, guys. So, you know, if you haven't voted yet, feel free. If you're going to buy one or not. Like, I would vote if I could, but it won't let me. So, yeah. It's definitely an interesting little ship. I like the concept behind it. I would like to see, like, as I pointed out with the Fury missile variant, the problem that we have with equipping missiles while we're out playing is that we need the missiles to be able to be stored somewhere physically, and you can't just pull missiles out from your inventory and just put them in physical space. It has to be attached to a ship, and then you take it from the ship and you take it off and then store it physically, which is a problem. So I would say that, you know, like, the amount of setup time for it, we may not see the missile variant get used as much, purely because it's too much of a, you know, it's too much fucking around just to get a stockpile of missiles ready to put onto the thing. Whereas, you know, like, just using the regular Furies, like, they've got the guns, you can use them, and you can keep using them. Missiles aren't used that frequently. Like, they could be, but they're not. Somebody asked about the Talon Shrike. It doesn't get used as much in combat, because normally as soon as somebody sees it, they just gun for it straight away. They'll just shoot it down. Its guns on it are too small to fight back. Its advantage is using missiles, but if somebody closes with you, those missiles are pointless. Yeah, I was also surprised by like the components of the ships, like of the Furies. Like just, it's essentially like a short stubby cylinder with a chair attached to one end and some glass. You got the wings with the engines mounted on them, but the central cylinder, the short stubby cylinder, has all the components on it. And I'm not surprised that they said that they couldn't fit a quantum drive in it, because if they put a quantum drive on it, you have to put a fuel tank on it. That said though, it could have made it just a little bit longer. I reckon it would have worked, but I don't think they wanted that because the TIE fighters don't have, hyperdrive, so. 2 kilometers to be able to spot them. Holy fuck. Like, I look at that Fury and what was it? Some people, the rumors that were getting around was like the Fury was supposed to be a complementary ship that you would use with the whole series. And I looked at it, I'm like, alright, well, it's going to depend on how you can get into the thing. But I imagine, like, I don't see any reason why they couldn't create a docking system where you can dock the Fury and just be able to step out into the ship. That's one of the things that I think CIG needs to look at doing more with snub fighters. Like, one of the things that I was really hoping that they'd come around to doing, and I don't think they're going to do it, but with the P-52 and the P-72 variant snub fighters, I'd like to see a type of parasite ship that can be attached to the Constellation series where it's just used as like a, I wouldn't call it a troop carrier, but like a passenger ferry, like just a small one, only carries like up to 4 people, uses the exact same docking port. You have the pilot and then 3 passengers that just get in it. And I look at this, this Fury here, and I'm like, it would be cool to see, like you can store it inside the cargo grid of the Constellation, but I would like to see, an adaptation that you can make to the ship for the docking of a Fury so that it could occupy the same space as a Merlin or an Archimedes, like Serenity does in Firefly. Yeah, like I think that's something that CIG needs to look at doing more of, because how often do you need to get into your P-52 or P-72 in a Constellation versus, you want to keep some of your crew in the Connie as air support, but you want to take a ship down to ground as well. Well, at the moment it's just land the Constellation on the ground, in which case you're risking that whole ship there, as opposed to, just jump into the little runabout, the little, what was it? I don't know what you guys call them. They're like aluminium, small aluminium fishing boats. We call them tinnies. You jump in the little tinny. It's just a little, 3-4 person boat with an outboard motor on it. You just go out in the water in that. Normally you're carrying it on the back of larger boats, but you need a little, I wouldn't call it a troop carrier, but for lack of a better term, you need a small, ship that can carry passengers in it, that can be a parasite ship. To be honest, that to me makes more sense on the Phoenix than the Archimedes does. A dinghy, yeah. You guys call it. I actually have heard the term dinghy. I just forgot about it. Yeah, like having a dinghy. They need that. Just a ship that can detach and go and go land somewhere, go drop down and do something. Hey, we want to check out that cave, but we don't want to commit the entire crew. Right, you 2 guys, go jump in the dinghy, take it down to the cave, go explore. We'll stay up here and keep an eye out around of what's going on, as opposed to, land in the entire ship. And then the ship's vulnerable on the ground. I think that'd be worth doing. All right, we have 50 votes on the poll. Let's end it there. Let's go end the poll. There it is. There's the results. 74% out of 50 votes. 74% of yous are gonna buy it, and 25% said no, thank you, which means that there's 1% undecided, or it's just a fractional thing, and it rounded the 25% up. I don't know. Yeah, like, I hope CIG starts exploring those concepts there. I really do. I hope they also look at, what is it, for the Galaxy, a hangar variant, just for landing ships in there. Like, you could, technically you could just use the cargo variant, and then just have the Furies land in that. But if they do that sort of stuff, what I'm hoping that they do is they kind of try and support landing multiple Furies and trying to let us use, and allow us to use the vertical space in larger cargo ships. Alright, I think that's enough there. Enough chin wagging on the Fury. We're going to see it a lot more. It's definitely going to end up featuring in Mongrel Squad videos. We should probably move on. Alright, so the next video that we're going to be reacting to here, we need to look, yep, it's that one. I'm going to grab the link for you all. There it is. I haven't watched this one. It looks interesting. That doesn't look like the link for it. Oh no, it is. Alright. Why is it just painted on? Here we go. So the next video that we're going to be reacting to is... Let's get the music off. Let's get the next one up. I need to pause it in a second so it doesn't run. Ah, yes. So this one is Star Citizen, the Space Trucker Strikes Back Piracy Fail by Uncle Porkchop. He's a regular viewer here. I don't know if any of his other videos are featured on the channel. I think one of them has. Hey, thank you very much for the super chat there, Ozil. Or is that a sticker? That is a sticker. It says super chatted up there. I don't know. Stream Elements doesn't seem to understand what's going on. So I haven't watched this yet. Now, it's a piracy fail, which to me, it's always fun, like these types of videos. So, not because they're failing, but because it normally goes really badly in a funny way. So yeah, Uncle Porkchop, Space Trucker Strikes Back Piracy Fail. Not many of these happen, so let's find out. Let's watch and see. I'm just pausing the video because I know I'm going to get a copyright strike because of the Star Wars music being used. Which is a really good reason why you should come and watch these streams live. And I'll talk a little bit more about that at the end of the stream. Okay, the Space Trucker Strikes Back. The Stanton system is at a high demand for export of goods and contraband. A few members of the STARS Deploy a quantum snare trap along a shipping lane to interdict any vessels carrying goods by force. Were they carrying goods by force? They were met by a space trucker named Grimm's End, who wasn't willing to give up without a fight. What was that name? That transition, love it.
Straight in front of us, he just come in.
A freelancer, yes, finally a freelancer.
He's booking it. He's booking it. Get in there. Yeah. He's coming back around. Good fire control there by the group. You're gonna have to dial it back a little bit as you get closer to it. Space trucker cam. What's this? Ooh, okay. Don't like that. Oh man. Oh no, don't get out of your seat. You're soft death. You're an EVA. What are you doing, mate? What are you doing? Alright. I have no idea, actually, Blake. I don't know if that guy's a streamer. Like the space trucker or Uncle Porkchop.
He's still on there the last time I scanned, by the way.
You want me to come down there with a gun? Hold on, I'll help you.
Well, he doesn't have much. They didn't actually say what he's got. That looks like drugs though. It's either drugs or quant. They're just pulling the boxes straight away anyway. Shoot him, get him! Go straight for the ship. Oh, what are you doing?
I think he should.
Oh, you can cap him, but why are you just...
Yeah, I'm fucking down. Take him out.
Send us on there. I want him to steal your ship and fly away.
Well, there he is.
No, he's inside my ship. He's in my side. He's in.
Oh, mate. Smooth landing. What are you why is there a Steve in the back there? Get in the pilot's chair and fight. Come on, mate.
I warned you. Oh, he's in the seat.
Oh, mate, what are you doing?
That guy really said I'm gonna clutch this.
Mate, you got shredded by these guys when you're in a freelancer. A Cutlass Black is not going to make it any better for yourself.
I was muted. I thought you guys had taken him out.
This guy gets a great story.
Did you get an engine?
What's happening here, Dingo, is that I'm incurring the wrath of Disney watching this video because of all the copyright music on it. But what's happened so far is that these guys have bricked a freelancer that looks like it had either drugs or quant on it. And they were just pulling the cargo off the ship and they hadn't cleared it. And the pilot target of the ship decided to take the initiative, incap the guy who was pulling the cargo in the Cutlass Black, board the Cutlass Black and now start fighting back. You know, like, which is, you know, good on him for doing this. But he didn't fare too well in the Freelancer, and the Cutlass Black doesn't put him in a better position.
So he's been pretty hard.
Now he's bricked 2 ships. Don't get out of the seat until it's done, you idiot. What are you doing? What are you doing? If you're ever in a ship that gets bricked and you're in space and it's spinning around, do not get out of the fucking chair until the ship stops. They can't board it while the ship's spinning around and moving, so you're still safe. You getting out of the chair is just going to end up like this guy, where you get smacked into the sides of the walls over and over again until you get incapped. What does a man do, Dingo? What does a man do?
Yeah, dude, he just had his freaking day right there, dude. That made his entire year in Star Citizen.
He's inside.
Recruit this guy. He seems like.
Yeah, just give me right back.
Yeah, recruit him. He seems like the type of guy that you want on your team.
Let me scan this, make sure.
Aggression and taking the initiative.
Alright, you're good. The only person I scan on there is Fierce.
Why are there steeds in that thing?
There we go.
Well, now they need to go grab
You know
another
that
prize
dude had a
ship.
major hard-on whenever he stole your ship.
Yeah.
This shit was clutch, though.
I saw it coming as soon as he started shooting. I was like, he's definitely gonna steal Fierce's ship next.
Yeah, I fucking knew that too. But there you are, clown.
What was his name?
It's another reason why you use ballistic weapons over energy. Because if Old Mate had been using an energy like a Custodian or a Kana or something like that, all you would have done was just made little, you know, pretty little flashes on the shields and the guy would have got hit. But that C-54, there was enough damage punching through that fucking, you know, he was able to reach out and touch Old Mate who was trying to steal his cargo. Man, I'm fucking... This is the type of thing that I want to happen to us. You know, where are the people that are supposed to be fighting back against us?
Oh, it was,
Grims and...
Jack!
There's a guy in space.
do what?
He's still alive.
Wait, what? What? We saw him get incapped. We saw this guy get incapped. How the... Alright. So I encountered this bug yesterday. Where I've encountered this bug yesterday where I was run out of the back of my Cutlass Blue, and I'd run out and then I get thrown back into my ramp and then I get incapped, and then like 15 seconds later my character would just stand back up like nothing was wrong. I'm gonna scrub back. I want to find the point because there's actually a way to be able to tell if you're actually incapped properly or not. Let's see if I can find it. Here we go. Alright, pausing right there. Alright, watch the cursor. You guys should be able to see my cursor on the screen. Coming down to here, it says you are incapacitated, time until death, 1 minute 29, or 1 hour 29. This, more than likely, isn't actually working, and you don't see it. He's incapacitated. Like it says you're incapacitated. Time until death. It's either an hour and 29 minutes or it's 1 minute and 29 seconds. I think it's an hour and 29 minutes. But what happens is that you, like 15 seconds later, you'll get back up. And I believe it's because your client has told the server, oh, I just had all this collision here. I got out of my chair. I've had all these collisions, all this extra damage that's been put on me. I'm now dead. The server bounces back and says, no, dickhead, that shouldn't have happened. You got out of your chair and you're fine. You know, rise again. Because you don't see it happen. Like, they conveniently cut here. And he's been thrown out of the ship as well.
Yeah, dude, he just had his freaking day right there, dude. That made his entire year in Star Citizen.
He's inside.
Recruit this guy. He seems like.
Yeah, just give me right back.
Just gonna scrub back forward.
You know that dude had a major hard-on whenever he stole your ship.
Yeah.
That shit was clutch, though.
Man, like, where are the people doing this to us?
He started shooting. I was like, he's definitely gonna steal.
I want this to happen more.
Next.
Yeah, I fucking knew that too. But there you are, clown.
What was his name? Oh, it was
Grims and there's a guy in space.
Do what?
He's still alive.
He's going for the mantis next. Go for the mantis! They're not gonna.
How the hell is he alive still?
I'd start talking to him. I'd just be talking to him. I'd just be like, hey man, alright. Mate. Yeah, you got balls. You got some fucking real balls here. You want to join Mongrel Squad? I'll be like, hey, you interested in joining a piracy organization? Because you got the bloody initiative that we're looking for. Don't kill him! Oh, we burned through all magazines? Mate. Oh, the guy's on the... the guy's on the elevator and trying to shoot at him. Go! Go, son! Pull out your pistol! Get your pistol out. What are you doing?
I think I just saw med pen. Definitely he's alive.
Is he alive, son? Move up a bit. I can't.
They're gonna fucking blow up their own mantis. You did recruit him, good. Mate. Yeah, I'd track to beam him aboard and I'd be like, hey mate.
Dead.
That was my first ever, like, in space, just shootout for me.
Really? Yeah, it was pretty awesome, man. You actually... This shit was, everything was, yeah, that was pretty damn good. We were laughing our ass off over here.
I didn't know you guys were like under me for like 2 minutes, and I just heard your ships, and I'm like, oh shit, they're right under me, and I just go right to you guys. I even put out like a service beacon.
Oh, wait, epic, dude. We couldn't kill you. Dude. We're like, this dude's like freaking. We're like all butterfingers and shit. I even went in the cutlass and was resin the dude that you shot down. Yeah. I don't know how you didn't get the jump on me. I was like, oh my god.
I didn't even see you. Did I even break your glass at all?
No, but
when I was shooting the ship,
yeah, we could feel it, you know.
Really?
It made the situation tense.
Were you just wondering when I was just shooting the top of your ship and you were just like, what the fuck was that?
Oh, dude, it was amazing watching somebody not give up. It was like fucking fighting. It was like, hell yeah.
Went Rambo.
Yes. Ooh, hold up. Not yet, level cap. Fucking calm down. Wait your turn, mate. Jesus. That's the next video, by the way. That's fucking awesome. Like, that was really good. Like, you guys recruited him. I fucking don't blame yous. Like, that's how you fucking play Star Citizen. You get pirated, you don't fucking cry like a little bitch and jump in chat and go, fucking, I fucking can't, you play 6v1, couldn't fight back, you know, of course you couldn't fight back, you're in a fucking sperm suit. You're too worried about losing your shit that costs 5 cents to buy in the fucking game. Like, weapons don't cost that much in this game. The armor doesn't cost much in this game. Like, if you're sitting there and you're complaining about the prices of things at the shops, you fucking just... You must just be that shit at the game that you can't make enough credits to be able to buy that stuff. Hell, you don't even need to buy it. You can go and do one bunker mission and you've got 5 fucking sets of FPS kit that'll last you the next month. Yeah, that's right, Scared. Like, fucking, that's how the game is supposed to be, you know, played. Like, you're not expected to just bloody bumble your way through, bloody, without experiencing any sort of conflict or, you know, any sort of challenges. Yeah, Blake, it's fucking retarded, the mentality. Oh, you know, I've just spent 1 million credits on my fucking cargo, but... You know, I don't want to waste credits on my, you know, buying weapons and armors and shit like that because I might crash and lose it all. It's like, it's inevitable. It will happen. You're going to lose stuff in this game. Once you understand that you're going to lose things in this game, you start to think about how you can work around that because you need, like, they're all tools in your toolbox to be able to play. So it's like, you know, these complaints about, oh, I don't want to lose my gear. It's like, fucking get over it. You can get replacements. You're going to make stupid amounts of credits anyway if you're cargo hauling. You know, invest. It's a form of insurance so that you can fight back. You know, you get more respect if you bloody, you know, attempt to fight back, even if you're going to lose. Yeah, like people go, oh, you know, Star Citizen's turning into this fucking, you know, survival game. It's like, fuck off. This is nowhere near as hard as those survival games. You pretty much get handed everything. Like, you want to get bloody, what was it, drinks and stuff like that, just go down to any outpost. Go to any outpost, you'll bloody be able to pick up 20 drinks. You know, you want weapons? Go do a bunker mission. Go do one of the outpost missions. Bloody go to Jump Town or Paradise Cove or Raven's Roost. It's like there's just shit scattered everywhere. And you could understand if it was new players complaining about this, but it's not. It's people who have been playing this game for years. Just people whinging for the sake of it. Wanting screen licking easy mode. You know, no conflict, no challenge, all wins. I'm the main character of my story. You know, but don't disrupt my gameplay. And an 890 jump owner yesterday rage quit after I stowed away on his ship. I was just staring at him in the cabin, so he instinctively self-destructed and started crying about the claim timer. Good. I'm glad. They should be fucking crying about that. Don't initiate self-destruct on a ship that you're not prepared to lose. New players do not cry a lot. Instead, they're searching for a solution. You'd be surprised still. Like the amount of players that we encounter that do cry. It's like, oh yeah, how long has this person been playing for? Oh yeah, a couple of weeks. This is actually, so it's, you know, the generic observation that we've seen or that we've made is the types of players that we normally encounter who whinge the most have been playing, you know, for a month or two. They're the ones that will complain, you know, the most. Then you got the, you know, the guys who have been around for years, or their accounts are, you know, been around for years, and they've only just decided to start playing. new players, on the other hand, they got no fucking idea what's going on. We've convinced a couple of them that, hey, that was an NPC encounter, and they're like, holy fuck, that's amazing, blah blah blah. You know, I can't believe it. But it's like, you know, when I say new players, I'm talking about people that have, you know, backed in the last year, backed in the last 12 months. You were using the tractor beam and the hanger to kill people with the gurney and people cried about it. Dude, when we had access to the medical tool, I was running around drugging people. You know, like, I hang out at Grim Hex, so I wasn't doing it at the other rest stops. But, you know, as far as I'm concerned, Grim Hex is a criminal station and it is should be a fucking free-for-all. And the peace should be kept by this uneasy ceasefire that everybody maintains that, hey, if you don't shoot at me, me and my friends won't come and fuck you up. You know what I mean? That said though, if there's more of us and other people around, and we've got the ability to take over, that's what we'll do. That's what we did with the med guns. Like, we ran around, you know, the amount of people just running around with kit, you know, just standing around. And you could tell that they're not the type of player that, you know, is, I wouldn't say criminally minded, but wants to play the criminal path. Because they're just standing around like no one's going to disturb them. It's like, dude, you were in a fucking criminal station. You need to be on your constant guard. And if you're just going to stand there and, like, you know, not pay attention to anyone, they're going to drug you and, you know, take your shit. And that's what I did. I got so many kits out of that day. It was fucking nuts. I can understand them though, like, you know, not wanting that to happen at other rest stops, but Grim Hex really needs to be the place where it's like, Care Bears should fear to tread there. They shouldn't want to go there. They shouldn't be going, oh, you know, I'm going to go to Grim Hex and set my spawn there because, you know, it's so much more convenient. It's like, for that convenience, you're dealing with danger. You know, you have to be prepared to deal with danger to, you know, achieve that level of convenience. There was a time where Grim Hex's armistice zone only applied to the interior of the station. Everything outside was a free-for-all. It was insane. It was great. I loved it. But at the same time, I can understand why CIG has implemented the hard armistice zone that they have at the moment. I would like to see them lift it, but I'd like to see them do what they did with all the other rest stops, which is put fucking guns around it. Which I think they should be doing. And then it's, you know, well, I think going to Grim Hex should be reputation based to start off with. Like, you need to have the right reputation to just get access to the place. I don't know, some players are like, oh no, but, you know, that shouldn't be allowed. You know, everybody should be able to go everywhere and do whatever they want. But then they'll cry when, you know, criminals show up at a rest stop and start being criminals there. It's like, no, not like that. It's like, shut up. You know, bloody, you've got all your safe spaces. Let us have our one. You know? Yeah, Uncle Porkchop. It was a great video. I'm glad to see you guys got a recruit out of it. I wouldn't say we've had, you know, exact experiences like that, but we've recruited people that we've pirated. You know, we've pirated them and then they've wanted to join afterwards and they're like, I didn't even know you could do this in the game. I'm like, yeah, man, totally. And, you know, it's good to see that players, you know, fighting back and being able to get their perspective and, you know, like, that just looked like fun. It was good. Some mistakes were made, but, you know, in the heat of the moment, you can't expect perfection. You know, close enough is good enough and people need to make decisions. Alright. What we're going to do now, guys, we're going to move on to the next bit of content. And I don't know if you were paying attention, but the next bit of content comes from a YouTuber known as Level Cap. He's been covering Star Citizen a fair bit lately. He covers other games too. I think he's a bit more famous than us. I think he's got a bit more of an audience. You may hear the missus and kids screaming in the background. It's close to lunchtime here. What did the link go? Here it is. So this video apparently was when Level Cap, Salty Mike, and Space Tomato got together and went out and did mining in 3.19. So what we're going to do, we're going to transition back over here. As you all already know, Level Cap, this is Level Cap's video. Mining in Star Citizen just got massive. I'm interested to see. I'm not that familiar with how Level Cap plays Star Citizen that much, but he's got Salty Mike and Space Tomato with him. I know for a fact that Salty Mike is, way into the industrial gameplay, and Space Tomato, whilst he covered a lot of the, like, I wouldn't say theoretical side, but he covered a lot of the, he covers a lot of the stuff, talking about Star Citizen. He does play it, but he doesn't play it as often as what Salty Mike does. So, what Space Tomato gets into in Star Citizen isn't as in-depth as what Salty Mike does. But when it comes to industrial gameplay, with Salty Mike present, I think he's kind of going to be, I think in this scenario, he'd probably be coaching Level Cap through some of the more advanced mining stuff here. So it's interesting to see. All right, let's watch this. Holy shit, that's 2 moles.
There we go.
Yeah! We broke the rock!
Nice job.
Star Citizen has created a new multi-crew experience that is arguably deeper and more involved than anything else in the game. Multi-crew mining is finally a viable profession in the latest...
What? I'm just adjusting my seat. Mining has never been this deep before, I'll give him that, but I wouldn't say it's the most complex gameplay loop in this game.
This PTU patch, and I gotta say it's pretty fantastic. The Argo Mole, a mining ship that needs 4 people to operate at full capacity, has been in Star Citizen since late 2019, but due to poor game balance and limited functionality, it's been largely just for show, as the smaller single-seat mining vessel has been a better choice when it comes to actual profitability. However, that's all changing now with a shift in the resource tables, new mining laser properties, and much bigger mineable rocks that require 3 or even 6 lasers to crack. Plus careful modulation and mixing of different types of beams to do it quickly and safely. The skills and knowledge needed are surprisingly deep, and it requires a lot of coordination between bigger groups of players. Lucky for me, Salty Mike and Space Tomato, 2 prominent YouTubers in the Star Citizen community, were kind enough to invite me out for a large mining operation. We had everything: escort fighters to protect from pirates, supply ships, and multiple mining vessels which we needed to crack some of the biggest rocks in the game. Today, I want to bring you on that adventure and give you a glimpse of what the future of Star Citizen's mining operations can be. Enjoy.
Come into Hangar 8, and Kowalski will be sending you a party invite.
Okay. The Mole. I haven't seen this ship in a while. All right.
It's the carbon paint
should I come
on
up
it too.
into the...
Yes.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
What the fuck?
If you want,
Mike, what the fuck is this? You better have an FPS kit sitting in your fucking inventory. I think we're gonna have to pay Mike a visit. This is unacceptable. You know better, Mike. You know not to fucking run around in a sperm suit. Not angry, Mike. I'm just disappointed. You know, I thought you'd, you know, I thought we'd, you know, showing why you need FPS kit. It doesn't need to be elaborate. You don't need to deck yourself out as though you're going to be fucking fighting from, you know, the moment you get out of your hab to the ship, and then, you know, buddy, wherever you go, you're going to get boarded by pirates. Mate, you know, like this is not a good look. You know, this is not setting a good example for the rest of the industrialists. You should be at least kitted out with some light gear. You know, carrying a pistol, and it doesn't even look like you're carrying a pistol. You're not even carrying med pens. Yeah, no, it feels like we need to pay Mike a visit. Let's continue watching.
Have a seat in the co-pilot seat, because that's...
Oh man, I forgot
we
my
don't
way
stream
around
snipe
the
around
mole.
here. We'd have to
on
find
the
a
ladder here.
Ah. This ship really does have a cool looking interior. Oh, front of the ship. This way, obviously. I didn't even realize we were in space already. Let's check out that Lorville skyline. Another really cool feature of 319 is the update on this city. Just looks incredible, especially at night.
Tomato re-invited.
Alright, accepted it.
Oh, you can see the furnaces way off in the distance. Oh, nice. You can see the mining satchels on the bottom of the mole.
Saddlebags.
That's where all the goods go. Goodbye, Hurston.
All right, what moon do you... What's your favorite moon in Hurston?
I
don't think we should choose
Ooh.
Ariel.
I reckon.
Fight.
What would you choose?
I reckon we do.
I wonder why they wouldn't choose Ariel. Fucking, I'm looking at this though, and they're going to Aberdeen. I don't know the dispersion rates for rocks or anything like that. So, in the past, you'd go there for gold, taranite, hafisonite, or whatever the fuck it was called. Although those commodities back then, before 319, were worth fuck all, but now gold's actually really valuable, so... And now we can pull the saddlebags from, you know, these ships, so going after these ships is actually worth considering doing. And if you go through our library of videos, you can see that you can board moles.
Dude, Magda. I love a Magda.
Yeah.
Magda's pretty. Magda's pretty. I found Quantanium at Magda yesterday, so I'm down for that.
Alright, we're just meeting up with the fleet. Ah, 2 Starfarers.
Yes.
Very nice.
One for when one of them inevitably blows up.
Yeah.
While we're trying to refuel at it or something.
So we're just bringing the Starfarers because they have big cargo bays? Is that it?
No. The mole eats fuel. Like, goes through it super quick, so we actually need it to refuel.
Mike, real quick, I'm EVAing like
Wow.
right past you.
Okay.
Who's the Vandal on board our ship right now?
Is that PC or Arakasia who's wearing it? I don't know.
I miss Magda. Haven't seen this moon in a while. Look at that beautiful, non-breathable atmosphere. This is a cool moon.
So you're level. You're in the which I'm not sure what laser you have on. What does it say?
Oh, it says yeah. So focus 3 module. No, those are the impact 2 mining laser. There we go.
Oh yeah, you're in the good one. You're in the good one.
The good one. All right.
If you can't see all of your HUD, you have to make your field of view higher because the mole
Yeah,
have
no,
quite high
luckily I
field
got
view.
Toby so I can look over to it, but yeah, the UI is janky.
Yeah.
Continue.
Okay, should we try this Terranite one then?
Yes, you're the most important laser. So your laser, do you see how big the green zone gets when you go with it?
Yeah.
All right, and then the other big change is that there's a minimum laser intensity. So it's to the right, under the green zone. What does yours say, like 20%?
Oh,
So you know
yeah,
the laser power?
25%. 25%.
There you go. So you can't go to 0 anymore. Previously, you would go to 0, and
Yeah.
you would get all the benefits of the laser, so you could just pile lasers on, and it'd make it easy for everyone.
You can still cut your laser if you're overheating though, right?
Correct. Yeah, you can turn it on, turn it off, stuff like that. Right? So
Okay.
PC, turn yours on too. And then now look at the
Oh, wow,
green
that
zone.
green zone is massive.
Yeah.
That's awesome that it takes all three of us. Don't cross the beams, guys.
We'll collect as we go, and when you're full, you're full. Oh, Kowalski.
Oh, they took hits.
We're gonna communicate, and Ben flying the other mole. We're gonna communicate to you when it's about to break, and you gotta back up, because
Okay.
I just lost all my modules.
Oh shit.
So I just lost.
Yeah, level
100K
cap
worth
did
of
too.
Modules. They explode.
It says equipped there, but it says unequipped. Like they just lost all their modules there. Or were those used up? Were those the temporary ones? I don't fucking know. Looks like they lost it. Their ship did take damage.
Off the ship and are damaged now.
Wait, why did that happen if the rock didn't explode? Like we got it.
Because there's a new value that is like explosion value, and I think it's not intended.
Oh, no.
I'm at 0, so this is all you level cap.
Yeah, okay. I'll adjust.
So you'll adjust down now. And
Oh,
maybe
I'm at-
click off at
Yeah,
this point.
clicking off,
click
clicking off.
There you go. And then you can tap click on and off. Right?
There we go.
Yeah, there you go. Good job.
Whoa,
took
it hurt
damage
us
again.
again, man. What the heck?
Yeah.
Man, sunsets quickly on Magda.
Alright, heading to the Starfire.
Okay.
So they're going to
There's
swap the
the
bags out with the
Starfarer.
Starfarer?
300 meters above the ground.
Is it landed? It's kind of funky looking.
It's like they're about to hit
Oh
it.
my god, the desync, like you would smash right into that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Same on my screen, dude. I was like, so we're all gonna die now.
For you guys?
Yeah. Yeah, we got to swap them out.
Whoa.
Why are you doing it on the ground? Why are they
Are we
doing it
down?
on the ground?
No.
We're doing a skid landing.
You're on a rock.
Yes, yes, yes. Let me reposition.
Who's out of the ship already?
Me.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm getting out of this thing.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, last time I seen a
Alright,
landing
you're
this
good
bad, Mike was flying.
Alright, time to switch out some satchels. I forget how big this ship is every time I see it. Oh yeah, these are all the modules. That's cool.
Yeah, so these are all the lasers with setup modules on them. So if you want, there's suits that like I'm wearing in this box. And you can get a tractor beam in there.
They got Space
There.
Cutler there too.
And some food, some drink if you need it.
That's why they're not getting pirated. Space Cutlet's there.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mike.
We tried to come prepared. Today.
Could you imagine coming across this operation just with all these like modules and shit laying around? Like, this is just a piracy smorgasbord right here. That said, I'd probably just try and sell this all back to them. You pirated Sigelion there? Did he try bedlogging on you guys? Wouldn't surprise me if he did. I've heard that's become a thing again. No, there's too much valuable shit here. And plus I want the boarding action.
So you can attach those little modules outside before they're attached to the ship?
Yeah.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, you want to do it?
Sure.
All right, here, let me drop this one. And
Okay.
you have to use R and scroll wheel. So pick up the focus, and it's going to show you on the laser what
Yeah.
it's supposed to look like.
I already put the other.
Oh wait, hang on. I got it green. There we go.
Ben. There you go.
Boom.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it was just the wrong orientation. Dude, that system is kind of annoying.
Yeah. All right, let's head back to the mole because we're all set up there.
Much easier taking these things off than putting them back on. And it'll be great once these bags actually have like a dedicated transport ship and not the Starfarer. Because this is pretty awkward.
Oh, I hear gunfire.
Yeah, he's
Get
getting
him
shot
shot
again.
again.
Oh crap.
No, it was some strays from Vekshan, actually. He was shooting at the guy up above.
Protect us, pirate escort.
Starfarer's
hopped
coming
in
in to
the,
give us our bags.
I'm in the Starfarer turret, so we're a battle Starfarer now.
Hell yeah.
Some Toku drifting going on here.
Yeah.
Whoa. Oh god, the thruster sent me flying.
Well, there goes the bag.
Oh, I see one. I see it.
I caught it.
Nice.
Well, these bags are... Okay, so
Huge.
we're putting them on the right side, is that right?
Yeah, we'll leave them outside, but on the right side. Until we
Okay.
pull out the...
Oh my god.
Oh my god, somebody killed me.
Sorry, that was me, but...
You're good, you're good. I'm alive.
I
don't
I was
know
just
where
scaring
my
it
bag's
and
running
it...
away.
Yeah, dude,
Oh, no.
the bag just went flying through the ship. Alright, I got an empty bag.
If you land on the right side, Kowarski, we can just move it and attach them.
Okay, I placed it.
Does it have to be the correct, like, orientation?
Yeah, you gotta mouse wheel it and spin it to get it right. Hold R and then mouse wheel. Yeah, yeah. See that?
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, there you go.
You just keep rotating until it fits the right way. Okay. All right. So at this point in our adventure, we had successfully cracked some 51,000 sides.
Not gonna lie, that system that they were using there looks incredibly inefficient. Yeah, just setting this operation up was a full day of play. Like, I understand them using the Starfarers to help with refueling. Could understand them using multiple moles. But the thing is that we all know with saddlebags now that you can't put them on ship cargo grids and refine them at a refinery. You have to put them on a mining ship. The terminals don't recognize anything else other than mining ships. So, like, in my mind, the way that I'd be handling this is that I'd swap one of those Starfarers out for a mole, and I would just pull the empty saddlebags off the mole, put the full ones on that one, and tell it to go, you know, refine. So there would be a mole whose only job is to act as a, you know, saddlebag transport, and that's it. Keep the other Starfarer around for the mining modules and things like that, but yeah, like, they could have gotten rid of an entire Starfarer and just stuck with a mole that is just only for transport. They may have their reasons for not doing that, you know, but that's the way that I'd look at it. Or the mole at a station and cat running bags. Even then, like, I wouldn't bother with that because you're adding an extra step by putting it onto a cargo ship, then taking it off the cargo ship to put onto a mole. You're better off just putting it straight on the mole. The mole can take an XL1 quantum drive, so it's already, you know, capable of using the fastest quantum drive in the game. So you could have it, you know, fly anywhere in Stanton really quickly, drop off and create the refinery job, and then come back. And I'll tell you now, like, the movement of cargo is now the biggest, you know, time or amount of time that pirates now spend in a piracy hit. The scouting of targets doesn't take us as long because we know where to look. You know, hitting the target is really quick. That's the quickest part of it because it's not hard to do anymore. It doesn't require that much coordination. It's just, you know, you control your rate of fire so that you don't hard death the ship. So the longest part is moving cargo boxes, and you're moving one SU box at a time. Like if you're unloading a C2, that's 696 boxes that you gotta unload from one ship and put onto another one that's an equivalent, or you stack them onto multiple ships, which we've done in the past. Like we unloaded I think it was a M2, and we put the goal was to put a MSR at either end and unload from both ends, and load them into smaller ships. And that's more the concept that we're looking at moving towards, is using smaller ships to transport the cargo and just having multiple of those ships there. And the reason for that is that the stolen rate or the rate that you can sell stolen cargo at is a lot lower than legal cargo, and you got to deal with the tick rate. So it's better to just load up smaller ships with cargo, have them go and sell, and then whilst we're waiting for the next tick cycle to happen, we bring it back and then we load it again. And by doing it that way, we're not like we don't spend half an hour loading up a ship, or half an hour, I say half an hour loading up a ship, and then spending an extra half hour waiting for ticks to go off so that we can then sell that cargo. Because we've been in that position before. We actually what was it, the auxiliaries, we ended up doing a hit with the auxiliaries where they found a caterpillar that had been tick trading laranite just as 319 had started. And the fact of the matter is like they disabled the ship using distortion damage. Our guys boarded, cleared it out, and then we took it down to ArcCorp because we could still move it because it didn't get bricked. And then we transferred all the cargo onto another caterpillar, and it just, during that time when we took it to like we were unloading it, that took about 50 minutes from memory. It took about 50 minutes to unload from one caterpillar into the other one. But then we had to spend an extra 30 minutes at the orphanage selling it all off, waiting for the ticks to cycle. Now, if we had had 2 medium cargo hauler ships there, could have loaded one up as soon as it was loaded, sent it off to the orphanage with an escort, have the other one start loading that one up. The first one would sell, come back, second one would be finished loading, send that off to the orphanage, tick rates reset, and do it that way. 50 minutes. Time must be going too fast for me then, because I thought it was less time than that. But that's what I mean though. Like, it's a lot of time. So looking for those efficiencies that we can implement into the way that we operate is, in my mind, really important, because we don't want to be wasting time moving boxes. I play Star Citizen to be a pirate, not a fucking box mover. So if I can think of methods of being able to reduce the amount of time that I'm spending moving boxes, I'll do that. And when I'm seeing this, I'm like, my experience as a pirate tells me that they're wasting more time by storing empty saddlebags in a Starfarer, pulling those out and then putting full ones in there to then transport somewhere, to then put them onto a mole and then use the mole to refine them. And that's the thing, is that you cut out the Starfarer and you just load it straight from a mole. So, as I said before, I'd bring in, like, once I filled one mole up, I'd bring the transport mole in and I'd have it come in. I'd pull the empty saddlebags off of it. I'd put that on the, pull the empty saddlebags off, transfer the full ones from, the mining mole onto the transport mole, and then put the empty ones onto the mining mole. Transport mole fucks off to the refinery and goes and refines. Mining mole keeps doing its thing. But then, you look at it and like, well, why don't they all just be mining moles? Right now we live in a fucking fishbowl where everything is within reach. Yeah, Blake, we actually did have some of the guys just trading the drugs that were there. Yeah, Ozil. For the saddlebags, it's a waste of time, but like 100% for refueling and being able to equip extra modules or change out mining heads and things like that. 100% agree with that. Like that's cool. Having extra kit there, that's good as well. But I wouldn't use it for transporting saddlebags. But at the same time, these guys are testing concepts and they got to learn. But from my experience doing piracy, like in 3.18 and moving shit tons of boxes. Like, yeah, I just wouldn't bother trying to pull empty bags out, put them somewhere, and then, put full ones somewhere else. I'd just put them straight onto the ships that make the most sense. All right, let's keep watching.
Rocks, we swapped out our satchels for brand new empty satchels, but one of the other moles had found an 85,000 mass rock, something that previously would have, I don't even know if it would have spawned, let alone been mineable. But in theory, combining the power of two moles together, we should be able to crack this massive rock for a pretty substantial reward.
Time to crack a rock, baby.
I think we're just going to be full green again.
Probably, but it is a big boy.
Okay.
That's crunchy as well.
But if it's full green, we automatically just win.
That's a bit frustrating that they didn't mention crunchy there. Because, like, crunchy is also huge on mining. Like, I don't know how many of you guys know about Crunchy. Crunchy's a OCX streamer. Like, he's big in the racing scene, but he's also big on mining. And, does industrial gameplay too. And it's a bit frustrating that, Space Tomato and Salty might get mentioned, but Crunchy's kind of just, just there.
If it goes to full green. But, like, it's much larger than the rock that you guys had before.
Don't cross the streams.
Oh, whoops, sorry.
What are you doing?
Little cat's trying to blow me up.
I'm just mining. I'm mining whatever's in my view, man.
Yo, this is a fat boy.
So that Vormax increases resistance, right? Are we having an issue because of that?
We're not in optimal range. Bring us a little closer. And the other mole might need to come a little closer as well.
I think we're too close for center. Who's in center turret on mole 2?
All right, we're good where we are.
Oh, full green. It's going.
Here we go.
There we go.
Full green.
Stay on target. Will it shake a little before it explodes?
Right, you need to move away. You need to move away. You're going to damage your ships.
Go.
Oh!
Too
took
late.
some damage.
Oh, we're good.
You lost your modules.
There's your 80k rock.
Yeah, lost the components.
I think we've lost a lot of modules.
Yeah, all mine are gone.
I'm trying to, like, position it so his laser isn't... Okay, he's back.
Everybody's like, give me the gold. Give me the gold.
Yeah. Slow it down, guys. You're going to blow something up here.
Explosions are fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you like video games without explosions? Come on.
True.
I don't think Level Cap knows the types of people that he's playing with. Like, yeah, Mike and Space Tomato like playing video games, but this is their jam, and the explosions aren't really what they're looking for.
Just
so
when they're further away from me.
Do you see the difference between them and us when mining in the green zone? Do you see how slow up it's going up? That's the negative of their laser.
Oh,
or
God,
never mind.
guys.
What just happened?
Oh, my God.
Well, I'm dead.
I lied. That was 100% a server hiccup. We went from halfway that it was just stuck there to full on in the red.
No, I saw it go level cap, but
I added a little power, but I did back off. I was backed off before it hit the red.
0%
I have a med gun. Are you actual dead down?
Yeah, down.
No, just unconscious. If I could get a med pen, please.
Yeah, Mole 2 can land.
Oh my God! And then there's a red ship that just came in.
Oh, was that you, Croncy, that you died there?
Yeah, whatever explosion just happened.
I don't know what's happening, but there's ships popping all around us, so we need to leave.
Now, mining was not without its trials and tribulations, but we managed to keep mining for several more hours, filling up multiple mole loads, taking them back to the stations, and setting them up for refinement. Without question, the coolest part of this update is just seeing these massive rocks that truly do require moles to crack. Prospectors just don't have the power to do so, and now there is a significant multi-crew mining gameplay loop where you spend less of your time searching around for rocks and more of your time cracking the big rocks and breaking them up into smaller and smaller chunks, which you can then suck up into your cargo pods. Now, of course, this is a brand new feature in Star Citizen, so it's not without its jank. Removing pods from the mole and trying to transfer them around or get new pods is still very awkward and not its final design. Eventually, there's a ship called the Expanse, which is supposed to come into the game and refine on location, and then potentially spit out cargo pods that other hauling ships can carry away. So the plans are for multiple other facets to affect this style of gameplay, but in its current state, it is really cool to see a new type of multi-crew gameplay, arguably one of the deepest that's been added to the game so far. Needing 2 moles to crack a rock, which is essentially 8 people with 2 ships of 4, means multi-crew is a necessity now, and it has the potential to deliver higher earning rates, though the numbers are still out on that. We confirmed that some of the rocks that we cracked had over 600,000 worth of gold inside of them, so I'm sure there's going to be some rocks out there worth well over $1 million. It's exciting to see these multi-crew operations become a reality, even if they're not in their final form. They still offer a lot of value and a good place to really test out what works and what doesn't work with setting up a large-scale mining operation. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and next up, check out my ship guide on the top 10 best ships or most practical ships in Star Citizen. As always, thanks for watching, and if you're planning on getting into the game, use my referral code in the...
Alright. Calm down, level cap. Everybody's watching this already knows. The Urka. Like, that's the prize right there. The C2 full of gold. Wouldn't want to hit a mole that's full of gold, but at the same time, like, if it's got saddlebags that are full of gold, you know, it's worth 600k. I'd hit that. I'd hit it. But yeah, like, there was, it's kind of interesting to see that they're finally, you know, this is how mining is supposed to have gone. You know, this was their intent with mining. Like, there's going to be huge rocks around that you need multiple people to work on it. And, you know, if you go look at Spectrum, there's people still complaining about it because they want to be able to break those same rocks with their shitty little prospector. And yeah, like that's pretty much the intent there, is to take the bags, put them on your own mole, then refine it as your own. And then it's all legal. That's the thing, like, I would probably still try and target the cargo haulers as opposed to the miners. Purely because we don't want to be fucking around with refining and timers and things like that. We'd rather just have the end product. Let them pay for that. Let them, you know, worry about the logistics of getting, you know, finding something, mining it, then taking it somewhere to refine it, and then when they're going to move it, that's when we hit them. That's it. If we come across a mole and it does have a bunch of gold on it, or, you know, highly valuable commodity in raw form, we'd still hit it because that stuff is still valuable. We just need our own mining ships to be able to convert it into, you know, the refined form so that we can then sell it. But, you know, like, this is one of those things where it's like, this to me is, you know, the start of seeing the industrial gameplay or the industrial complex actually building up. You know, when we get the expansion game, like, it's going to be really difficult for us to go and find bloody mining ships. You know, the industrialists are going to be hiding out in the Aran Halo belt and staying out there for long periods of time. And that's why I would hope that we've, you know, when we get that, we also get long range scanning, or, you know, just being able to send probes or drones out to go scanning different areas of space. so that it's not easier for us to find them, but it makes it possible. Because that's one of the other things is like, unless you catch these people at one of the refinery stations, or you just happen to come across them, there's no real pattern that you can use to find miners, you know, while they're out mining. You're relying on cargo haulers, you know, starting at known points and, you know, going to known destinations. Alright, I'm gonna go AFK for a minute before we go to the last video, so I'll be right back. Right, I'm back. Just realized that the AFK screen doesn't have any music on it. InspiroBot, while we wait, yes, we don't do InspiroBot anymore. Because the music for InspiroBot is copyrighted, apparently, and we got hit with a claim like 4 or 5 streams back. Which is really weird, but, you know, whatever. I was working on my own version of it, but haven't been able to work on it recently. The AFK screen also has a female standing in the urinal on the right. Did you just assume their gender, Lamington? Mongrel Griefer bot is better? Yes. Although, I do need to work on it more. There's a few things that I need to work on is fixing up its repetition. Sometimes it'll, you know, play the same thing multiple times. Do some dressing up of how it does its transition, so fade in, fade outs, you know, slight slow movements of the background image, changing the font. And one of the other things I want to try and introduce, and this is like a longer term goal, is doing similar stories as what InspiroBot did, but from a Star Citizen perspective. So yeah, like there's plans for it, it's just finding the time to work on it. Alrighty then, we've got one more video. One more video. How long have we been going for? We're going for 2 hours. Watch that one. Here we go. I'm interested in watching this one. Haven't watched it yet. Not sure how it's going to go. So this is the next video that we're going to be watching, guys. I need to look at the name again. Can't remember it off the top of my head. Wait your turn. Damn it. The name is Crooked Will. So this video here that we're going to next is from Crooked Will, and it's when a pirate group goes after the wrong mark. Star Citizen PvP. So not sure how this is going to go. Apparently this is pirates fighting pirates. Or a security group fighting off a pirate group. We'll have to wait and see. Let's go.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, it's crazy how fast we can kill conies.
Why is this potato quality right now? Why is this on potato quality?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, it's crazy how fast we can kill conies.
I just fucking jumped a wall instead of Arcor on accident because I saw a Pug's mark right here.
Ooh, I think I saw someone.
Where?
There we go. Alright, finally caught it.
Warlock.
Wait, where?
Is this the Chaos Squad video?
Where?
Ooh, yes. I don't know if I've watched this.
Yeah,
maybe I have.
Salvage Center. Yeah, they might start attacking.
On which planet?
They don't look too friendly.
Which planets?
Right here. Yep. Hold on, just evade. We're gonna be jumping around in a second.
I have watched this one.
Shade, we're gonna go straight for the warlocks.
Have we watched this on stream? Because I have seen this one. I remember it now. How long ago was this suggested? Because I'm not keen on rewatching something that we've already reacted to. Because I remember this, who was it? It was, one of the War Brothers. War Dog. Yeah, it was War Dog. He was the last one standing. Last one standing from Chaos Squad side, anyway. But I'm pretty sure we've done this one. No, we've watched it. I know I've seen it. Maybe I just watched it and it didn't get put on stream. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this did get posted in Mongrel Squad's Gilded. We'll watch it. I'm gonna give commentary on it, but yeah. Now that I remember that it's this hit, I don't know.
Yep.
Disto is going to be
nothing really stood out to me.
How many guys? Bug?
There's two. Yeah.
Okay.
Two? Okay.
2 warlocks?
Cutlass Blue and a Warlock.
Alright.
Okay.
Warlock first and the Cutlass Blue first. He's deadlier. Especially if he's got a gunner.
Yeah, he has a gunner. Yeah.
Okay, let's go for that engine.
He
Make him
got you
skinny
quantum
boy.
blocked, right?
No.
Engine on the curry. Which one is the curry? War Dog?
War Dog.
Yeah,
okay. I have to target it once.
Pug, come back towards us. You're coming too far out. Yep, straight down to the planet.
Ooh, right love that from the Warlock.
Yep, he did the interdiction.
Shade,
There
let
you
him
go.
up.
Running a distortion pierce loadout.
Reloading.
Glow sticks, yeah.
That.
Yeah, a little bit.
Just start
You okay,
raving
Pug,
in the
for
middle
now?
of the battle.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay. Good.
Let's get Vito.
Yeah.
Why are you going head to head with a fucking Scorpius like that, man? You're just gonna get shredded.
You fucked up, bruh.
You got him.
Yeah, so a Scorpius is, if you start getting focused by a Scorpius like that, you get the fuck out of there. Like, you do not want to be focused by a Scorpius like that. Realistically, when you're trying to fight it, you want to actually try and get underneath its nose and try and hit it from below, because the turret is the Scorpius's main strength. The pilot controlled weapons aren't that great. Like, old mate running XJ2s there. It doesn't even look like he's got a gimbal, and the wings are in the deploy configuration, so convergence for the pilot controlled weapons are shit. That's why you'll see actually a lot of people, if they're running pilot controlled weapons, they'll be running the size 2 on gimbals and then using gimbal mode so that they can actually achieve some level of convergence. Now, myself personally, like, as you'll watch this, you won't see much coordination being put from the Chaos Squad side. It doesn't look like they're focusing fire in a single person here. It seems like they're all treating the fights as individual fights, and that's the problem when you're going up against ships like the Scorpius. Is you shouldn't be trying to fight it one-on-one unless you're like in a combat meta ship, which the Warlock is not. The EMP on that Warlock didn't get fully charged either. No, it did get fully charged. It did get deployed. The problem is that the Scorpius still had its fucking shields up. So you just wasted the EMP. You need to get the shields down for the EMP to have its effect. And in 3.18 and 3.19, distortion damage, you require a lot more distortion damage to be applied to the target before you will actually be able to shut components down. Not as much on size 1 components as you would on size 3, but in this case here, like, the EMP from the Warlock just doesn't put out enough distortion damage consistently enough to really warrant using it, which is why we moved away from it. Did he shut himself down there? No. Like, he just got shredded by the turret of the Scorpius. You watch his shields pretty much just evaporate because of the 4 size 3 Panthers that were shooting at him. And then he fires his EMP and you see it flash on the shield of the hull of the Scorpius, but it doesn't do anything to it. And then the turret, old mate still flying in the bloody pathway of the Scorpius turret, so he just gets blown up. Like, I like the Warlock too, but it's not good for combat. Like, it's not good for combat against, combat capable ships, which the Scorpius is. So if you're using a Warlock, you can't use it alone. You have to be focused firing ships, and you need help getting the shields down. Alright, let's keep watching.
Yeah.
Another guy here. Gladius here.
Yep. Oh, okay.
Nibbles.
Nibbles, okay, go.
I think he's just salty. Pug, survive.
They're
Gotta
all,
kill this guy because he's missing
Come to us if you can.
They're all moving really fast right now.
Did you guys get the Cutlass Blue?
No.
Not yet.
He's running, yeah.
He did.
Someone else is on.
I'm just going to quickly pause. Should be able to see my mouse cursor. It's in the middle of the screen. Alright, so look at the 3D radar down here. So there's the Scorpius is in the middle of this, and all the lines that are coming out extend off that. The little plus icons are missiles, and the red icons are the hostiles. So we got one that's roughly to the 7 o'clock of the Scorpius and high. The Gladius, which is to the front of the Scorpius, which is, you know, I'd say roughly 12 or 1 o'clock. And it's fairly close. And then there's another one that's further behind and below. That's supposedly hostile, but, you know, I can't really tell how far away it is. I can tell you now, they're not, you know, this Scorpius just isn't under pressure at all. Like, they're moving pretty fast. You look at their speed, they're moving at, like, you know, warp factor fucking 9, which is why I hate the current flight combat model. Because it encourages you to move fast. You know, it's just speed, you know, just boom and zoom, speed, and I get bored during these fights and just end up giving up. But if you look, they're engaging the Gladius, and the Gladius is pretty much just booming and zooming. The Cutlass Blue, its main focus should be on this Scorpius. Like, it should be trying to punish it. And, you know, constant radar lock should be happening, constant missiles being fired at it. You know, if you deck your blue out with task force, you can harass the fuck out of it. The thing is like, when you need to keep pressure on the Scorpius so that the turret gunner starts, you know, getting confused over what they should be attacking. Essentially, when you're fighting a ship that has a turret gunner and a pilot, your goal is to try and break the communication between the turret gunner and the pilot by giving them multiple problems to worry about. So you want the pilot thinking that, okay, yeah, we're going to prosecute this target, but then you start hitting them from behind, so the turret gunner swings around to engage you, and then they start disorientating from each other. You don't want them working together, you want them working against each other. And the way that you do that is by attacking from multiple angles. Pilots, and, you know, everybody plays, you know, the game like this, and this is why a lot of players want, you know, like the pilot to just control turret guns as well, is that they see what they want to shoot and that's all they want to do. And when you're in a turret, it's the exact same thing. You see what you want to shoot and that's all you want to do. The difference between the two positions, though, is the pilot controls where the ship goes. So if their target starts moving in a different direction, they're just going to follow it. Whereas the turret gunner can only follow within the, you know, the limited arcs that it has available to itself. So if, you know, their target goes below the ship, the turret gunner can't just, you know, rotate the ship so they can get better shots. They have to get the pilot to do that. And if the pilot's, you know, focused on a different target, they're not going to listen to the turret gunner. Which is why when you're coordinating, you know, if you're in a Scorpius, coordination between your turret gunner and the pilot is actually really important. And that realistically, whatever the pilot's going after, that's what the turret gunner should be going for too. And the only time that the turret gunner should really be focusing on anything else that the pilot isn't focusing on is if, you know, like you need to push somebody off your ship or off the 6 o'clock of your ship while the pilot maneuvers the ship out of, you know, range of the target or range of their hostile so that they can recharge shields.
Another Gladius. Kill it, Shade. Base. Game boss gamer.
Okay. We don't want to finish now. That's all the guys we killed already.
Yeah, one of the things that I'm a bit confused about this particular fight here is it only looks like a single Scorpius. And they've got a Vulture there. I don't see any other friendly markers. Now these guys do have a level 3 crime stat, so there may be a bounty after this guy. Or a bounty hunter after him.
What the fuck was that?
But look at the, you know, the evasion is just non-existent there.
Take a lot of damage from that?
Was face tanking all that damage.
I gotta get distance. They got fucking distos. My shields are low.
Okay.
Light them up. Light
I'm on
War
War
Dog.
Yep. I want him.
Does he have a turret? Does he have a turret gun?
Alright. Push on War Dog if you can.
Like, this is where the other Gladius should be trying to push on that Scorpius right there. But because they're all moving too fucking fast, the other Gladius isn't close enough to capitalize. Like, you look at the 3D radar there, it looks like they're closer, but that could still be like, you know, roughly 2 kilometers away. You're outside of effective weapons range. Like, you need to be within, you know, that 1,500, 1,400 meters ideally, less than that.
Again. He's getting away. Circle strafe is fucking right now. Oh, getting hits, big hits. Reloading.
It doesn't look like he's got a turret gunner there. It looks like he's just flying it on his own.
War Dog is dipping. Gladius nibbles.
Yep. Bro, you fucked up now.
Yeah, pancake shot right there. You know what this is equivalent of? You know, a Hollywood fight scene where there's the one hero there and all the bad guys run in one at a time. That's what this is. Like, I've said this before. Like, might makes right. The way that you have, you know, the advantage in fights is by having more people than them. Like, that's what Star Citizen is going to devolve into. Like, skill is only going to take you so far. There's a point where you need numbers. Skilled numbers will help you fight people who are using larger numbers, but there's a point where even that won't help you. Like, you can't maneuver 10 people shooting you at the same time when you're in range. They need to focus their fire and, you know, concentrate more on taking this guy down. I don't know what their comms are. They may have been trying their best, but this is one Scorpius, and so far we've seen, you know, a Warlock, a Gladius, or 2 Gladiuses, and a Cutlass Blue. If they're, you know, all working together, taking down that Scorpius should be a piece of piss. Even, you know, like, these guys do look like they know what they're doing when it comes to flight combat. It shouldn't be this hard to take them down, though. Not with bloody 4 of them there. But yeah, like, that Gladius is pretty much fucked. Even if they survive this, you know, pass here, they're gonna die in the next one.
Thanks for the pancake.
Oh, towards the ground.
Yep.
Boss Gamer.
He almost hit the ground.
Boss Gamer.
I'm on him. Yep, I'm on him.
Pug, you jumped out.
No, I'm still fighting.
This fucking guy.
I mean, he's winning.
Shay, can you get a distance on War Dog?
War Dog. Wait.
Boss Gamer,
Ryan.
Boss Gamer.
Okay.
What are you doing? Why is the blue that far away?
And you pancake.
Got him.
This is another reason why, and I've told my guys this too, is like, if you're getting attacked, do not go flying off into the fucking blue yonder to try and get your shields back. Push through one of your friendlies. And when I'm talking about pushing through, I'm talking about, you know, fly close enough to them so that whoever's pursuing you, your friendly, can shoot at them and make them veer off. That way you don't fuck off into the black, you know, 15 kilometers away, isolating your mate, so that they get just bloody fucked on. Because right now you're fighting 2 people who are working together. The Scorpius is a force multiplier. Right? But if you've got numbers, then you should be able to coordinate amongst yourselves to kill these 2 here. And what we're seeing is, like, really poor coordination. Like, even they don't need to be the best combat pilots to achieve this. But yeah, it's like, I'm watching this and I'm like, it hurts me because I know I've been in this position as well, where we've done poorly against lesser numbers, and it's purely because we weren't as coordinated as what we should have been. it doesn't look like he's got a fucking turret gunner. And if you're in a blue and you don't have a turret gunner and you end up fighting like a Scorpius that does have a turret gunner, you're gonna lose. Unless they're shit at playing this game, you're gonna lose. Because that Scorpius has higher maneuverability than what the blue has. You can bloody, nope the fuck out of the fight by, bloody VTOLing your way out, but to try and rely on that for flight combat when you're fighting a Scorpius is just, no. Like, you end up in that nose-to-nose battle, you're just going to struggle.
Who's the Talon chasing? Is he chasing the other guy, or is he... No, he's red, so he's... yeah, that's right, yeah, he's trying to spam.
Still can't close. I see missiles in the air. They hit you?
I don't know, I think I blew it up or something.
Is that blue missing an engine?
Still max speed in the wrong direction.
Yeah. Fall back, come
You
toward
probably
us.
can't see. Probably can't see because of all the chat and shit in the way. Does that blue look like it's missing an engine? It is. It's missing its left engine. Why are you even still there? Nah, bloody... I'd be pulling out. I would have pulled out as soon as bloody the rest of the guys died. If I found out that I was fighting on my own in a blue, I'd be just like, nah, I'm fucking out of here. That's enough. They won this round.
We're closing in on War Dog.
So this fight that we're watching is what it looks like when individuals try and fight a team. It's actually an example, a good example of what not to do when you're operating in a team. Fly combat, any sort of combat, you're in a and you're with a team, you should all be thinking like a team and fighting like a team, which means, you know, one person in charge, but he designating the targets and everybody just fucking on that one person. It's always the way that it goes in combat. Real life combat, in-game combat, doesn't matter. If you're in a fight, you know, everybody focus one person, beat the shit out of that guy, then move on to the next and next one and next one. You know, buddy, 2 guns, 1 target was a saying that one of my old COs used to say. You know, like, at no stage should a combat vehicle ever be firing, you know, one-on-one. If you're going to engage a target and one of your friendlies is nearby, they should also be shooting at the same target. Okay, the bullets are cheap. Losing a vehicle is expensive, you know, and the goal is to, you know, put the other side into so much, you know, logistical pain when it comes to replacing assets that, you know, they have to give up. And the easiest way to do that is to destroy their shit faster than they can destroy yours. So, if speed is the key to winning a fight, you want to kill things as fast as you can. And if you can't kill something fast on your own, bring a friend to help you. And just keep bringing friends until you're able to kill the thing fast enough that you win the fight. They have the numbers advantage here, and they are losing because they're not fighting as a team.
Did you get the talent, by the way?
Nah, I had to jump away. He was too fast.
You jumped away? Okay.
Yeah, he's already screwed up.
Dying already. Turret is aiming completely on the side.
Hey, log.
Yeah, I have watched that video. I know I've watched it. I just don't remember doing it on stream. Alright, well, yeah, that was Crooked Will in a Scorpius with a mate kicking the shit out of Chaos Squad. Hope those guys over at K Squad learnt some lessons from it. My takeaway from it is it's like, you guys shouldn't be losing a fight like that when you've got the numbers advantage. That's all I can really say. I don't remember if they had bounty hunters there or not. Possibly because old mate had a bounty on him. But at the same time, if you got the numbers advantage and there's only one of them, you shouldn't be losing. Unless they're like stupidly good at combat. Pug was in a vulture? Yeah, it's a vulture. Like, I wouldn't feel threatened by that thing. It's got 2 size 1s on it. Alright. This stream is coming up on the 3-hour mark. And I did mention at the start about writing up a Spectrum post, however, I wasn't expecting to be at this time. I was actually thinking that if I'd gotten to this point at the 2-hour mark, I'd do the Spectrum post, not the 3-hour mark. So we're not going to be doing the Spectrum post live, although I will be working on a Spectrum post for the issue that Jack's been dealing with. Not sure what they're trying to accomplish with that hit. They got baited apparently. It was a they were hitting a vulture, and then the Scorpius shows up to engage and, you know, pretty much push them off. And the Scorpius succeeds really, really well. The live service has been disrupted. Well, I guess that means that we can't even get on Spectrum, right? Let's have a quick look. Actually, what am I doing on that screen? So can we get on Spectrum? Yeah, Spectrum's loading for me. Maybe just the game. Yeah, the game. Alright, fair enough. Maybe they're fixing Jack Axton's problem. Or maybe they're getting ready for Invictus Week, and it just, you know, bloody tanked the servers. Maybe. I don't know. On that point, there's an announcement that I wanted to, or an announcement, statement, be closer to an announcement. So, my streaming time, like today, the stream for this week, you know, got pushed back a couple of days, and it's at a completely different time to when I would normally stream. Now, the reason for that is because of my, you know, the Mrs. schedule. She's starting a new job. She just started it last week. Yeah, the last week has been pretty, you know, intense. Lots of stuff going on. Real life and in Mongrel Squad. But yeah, the Missus is starting a new job, and what that has meant is that, you know, because of the hours that she works, I've got to step up and, you know, take on some of the responsibilities that she was taking care of, which was mainly just picking the kids up for school. But there's some mornings where I'm gonna have to, you know, be there to take my kids to school as well. So what that means is that I can't do 1 AM streams unless I know that the missus has the day off. So for myself and the rants and reactions stream, what I'm more or less doing, and I made an announcement on the public Mongrel Squad server as well, which if you're interested in joining, I'll grab the link for you. The thing about the reaction streams is that, and this goes in line with my announcement, I'm not going to be able to be consistent with my time that I'm actually going to do streams on now. This is partially because of my work schedule. That's a Mongrel Squad public server right there. If you want to join it and interact with, you know, Mongrel Squad and the community that we've built, you can go do it there. If you got things that you want to suggest for the reactions or rant streams, you can go there and do that. But yeah, but because of my work schedule and now my missus' work schedule, we're pretty much in this position where I need to make sure I'm making myself available to pick up on the jobs that my missus used to do, so that, you know, our kids are still being taken care of. So my freedom of movement when it comes to being able to do streams at, you know, for me it's like stupidly early in the morning, has pretty much evaporated. Because of my work schedule being as sporadic as it is, I only know my hours a week before I'm actually got work shifts. I'm gonna be planning around two factors there, and then there's also all the stuff that I do with Mongrel Squad and the Mongrel Corps. So going forward, when it comes to these reaction streams, it's going to be a lot more sporadic, and I'm going to try and announce further ahead of time if I'm going to be able to, you know, stream for that week. But the reality here is that I'm going to have to stabilize, like I need my missus' schedule to stabilize, which it looks like it's going to do shortly. But I also need to stabilize my own work schedule and, you know, delegate, you know, specific days to my work. Before I was a lot more open with it and, you know, pretty much just let them put me on whenever they needed me. Now I'm going to have to actually, you know, tell them that I can't work certain days, and even on the days that I can't work, that doesn't make me available to doing content creation and Mongrel Squad things. I'm going to have to, you know, focus on family. And yeah, that's right, Scared Citizen, it's family first. But that also means that these streams and all that are gonna start, I wouldn't say reducing in quality, it's reducing in frequency. Even though these are only once a week, finding the time to do it is becoming a lot more difficult. As I pointed out earlier, I ended up pushing this particular stream back by 10 hours just so I could get some sleep in, because yesterday was a huge day for me. Did lots of stuff, and doing a stream at 1 AM for 3 hours and then going to sleep and then having to get up and do more stuff during the day was going to be a big something that probably a decade ago I'd be able to handle, but as I'm getting older, it's getting harder. It's getting harder to bloody do 18-hour days, so I need to slow down a little bit. That said though, like, my missus' schedule needs to stabilize. I need to stabilize my own, get my kids into a routine as well. And then after that, then I'll have a better idea of how the streaming schedule is going to look. And how our content creation schedule is going to look, because our videos have slowed down primarily because we're after certain quality points. We didn't want all the videos looking the same. That said though, like, we did get a lot of hits. I wouldn't say that they were bad for content creation, it's just they didn't fit the parameters that Dobbs and I had created. And the thing about that is that after 3.18, I kind of came to the conclusion that that's not going to change for a long time. So we need to look at how we can continue putting videos out there so that you guys are entertained, but also, you know, like, still keep them in line with, you know, how we do piracy. So I have some ideas on how to achieve that. That does mean that some of the videos may get longer doing that, and they're not going to be as action-packed. I'm looking at changing our format to be a bit more, I wouldn't say storytelling, but it's closer to storytelling about how we do piracy ops in Star Citizen, or, you know, like, whilst we're going out and doing piracy ops, the things that we encounter. Like last week during one of our events, we just finished hitting a freelancer, transferred all the cargo, and then our Mantis pilot needed to get out of the chair to have a drink because they were, you know, about to go into the dehydration state. And when they got out of the chair of the Mantis, they popped out of the cockpit of the ship, and they were stuck on top of their Mantis, floating a couple of kilometers above the ground on Daymar. And then, you know, instead of going to sell the cargo, we spent the next 10 minutes positioning the Cutlass Blue so that we could rescue our stranded Mantis pilot. And, you know, those little things there, we've never included in our previous videos, but we always have moments like that, like something just random that happens during our gameplay sessions. You know, trying to do piracy ops, trying to make it work, and then, you know, something happens that comes out of the blue. Not really relevant to us doing a hit, but it is relevant to our gameplay session. So I want to start exploring in that sort of direction. But that does mean that the videos get longer. And I kind of started trying to do it in the 3.18 hits, and it kind of, you know, I think some people were getting, you know, that. One of the issues I've been having is, like, working out how to do the, you know, transitions correctly so that when we go from one hit to the next, or, you know, like one event to the next, that the boring stuff like moving to cargo boxes, you know, like, we can kind of just skip through that because you move one box, you've moved a million. But also, like, capturing the moments with where something, you know, that happens that is unique to that scenario, situation, or, you know, circumstance. Yeah, like catching a rock in the back of a Valk. Side effects. Somehow people are salty when you throw in some bloopers. The reason why, and, you know, they want to see us fail. They want to see us lose. And the irony is like, it's not that we try to, you know, that we're always winning. It's that those bloopers normally happen outside the event. You know, like there's plenty of hits where we've lost ships and it's like you see one of our ships explode. It's like, well, you know, we just lost that ship. But it's one of those things where it's like, it's very rare that we end up in a position where there are bloopers, or, you know, small things that happen that's funny, that still progresses the story of a hit. You moved 700 boxes the other day because the guy didn't have the money to buy a ship back. Yeah, 700 boxes, man. Like, it's a lot. And it takes a long time. And that's what I mean. Is that moving those boxes is kind of like downtime to us. In that we'll be moving the boxes, we'll have some people running security, but we'll just be shooting the shit while we're tractor beaming these boxes. And the thing about that is like, for us, it's okay. If it was being streamed or it was, you know, like in a video, people would just be clicking off within the first 5 minutes, which doesn't do well for the YouTube algorithm. So, you know, it's knowing when it comes to editing what parts to skip, what parts to show, you know, like the events that happen during a piracy operation. But at the same time, we, you know, like we'll do piracy ops that go for, you know, 3 to 5 hours. And a lot of it's scouting. If we do find targets, the hit will take about 15 minutes to do, and then it's a lot of box moving. And then during that box moving, something will happen. And then it's trying to skip through all the boring box moving to the part where something happens, highlight that, and then, you know, go back to skipping through the boring box moving stuff. And there aren't many examples out there that we can really follow in terms of, you know, Star Citizen content creators who do that sort of thing. So I'm trying to broaden my horizons and find other content creators who skip through the boring stuff, but do it in a way that doesn't detract from the story that they're trying to tell. And that is the direction that, you know, it's one of the reasons why we do content creation. I want to tell the story of Mongrel Squad and the piracy adventures that we get up to. So, you know, for me, it's like doing that, going in this direction is kind of the natural progression that we should be making anyway. But I want to make sure that anything that we are making is entertaining enough that you guys want to sit there and watch it. And in this day and age where people have, you know, what was it, 60-second attention spans or something like that, it's, you know, important that when we do put these videos out that people are, you know, willing to watch more than 60 seconds, which is why we have the hook at the start of our videos. You know, our intro has been shortened down. We don't worry about having an outro because, you know, 90% of the audience just drops off, and that fucks with us on the algorithm scale. And yeah, like trying to make sure that we pace our videos well enough so you got enough action to keep yourself engaged, slow it down a bit so that you can take a rest, increase action, you know, and have it come in waves. Alright, but yeah, there's a lot intended to be done. There's a lot of moving parts in Mongrel Squad right now. You just used to watch the outro over and over again. I can send you the link to the videos. I can probably just send you a link to the video so you can just watch it over and over again if you want. There, Blake. Like, we've still got it saved somewhere. I'm gonna track it down. Now, wasn't too sure if I was actually going to bring this up, but I think it's worth talking about. This is it's a bit of internal Mongrel Squad drama that's happened recently, and I'm going to bring it up on stream. It's right at the end though. We haven't got as many people here, but people can watch it anyway. So Mongrel Squad has had a large portion of the our NA members pick up and leave. Pretty much there's two camps when it comes to this. One camp is that they didn't agree with how I was doing things in the org, so they decided to pick up and go and, you know, go off on their own path. And then the other group is that they wanted to play with their friends. Now, there are vicious rumors getting around, and I'll say that they're vicious, and they're because their intent is malicious in trying to sully the good name of Mongrel Squad, or essentially attack us outside of the gameplay space. It's to be expected. It's part of the metagame. People don't like us. They're going to try and attack us any way they can. They're going to do it outside the game if they can. There was a Reddit post made about, and it was called the, was it Mongrel Squad 2023 Exodus? You can look it up. There's also a YouTube channel that was made. It's only got 1 sub last time I looked at it. The video's got like 400 and something last time I looked at it as well. And so I've org report every week, pretty much since the start of this year. I do a internal live stream for Mongrel Squad where I go through an org report and I'll talk about the goings on in Star Citizen, the goings on in Mongrel Squad, our tallies, and org news. And then I get up on my little soapbox and I'll talk about something, either having a whinge or bringing something up with the org. And then at the end, it's a Q&A between myself and the org for people to ask questions about things that they're not sure about. One of those, and because it's in video format, I stream it internally in Mongrel Squad, but I also save it as a video and I share it with the rest of the org so that those who can't be there for the stream can still catch up on the org report later. Those who somebody that used to be in Mongrel Squad had made a copy of that video and shared it internally with the group that had left. And then from there, somebody within that group had grabbed that video and posted it to YouTube. And it was with the intent of, from what we could understand, it was just sharing internal information with the rest of the world. I guess in the hopes of, trying to point at us and say, hey, Mongrel Squad's crumbling, they're about to break down. That isn't the case at all. We still have an NA group. It isn't as large as what it used to be before. It's frustrating the way that it's been spoken about with regards to those who left. Essentially the argument being put forward is that all our good NA members left, because the inference there is that all we're left with is with shit NA members, and that isn't the case. Like, all our mongrels are highly capable Star Citizen players, all of them. There are those who put more time and effort into developing their skills to be a lot higher than what we expect of Mongrel Squad members. But to infer that those who are left behind were shit is annoying and frustrating, and to be honest, I don't like how that got put out there. Can't control what other people say about us, but I figured I'd put that out there on the internet because somebody else has put something out on the internet about me without any sort of real context, so I'll explain that point there. I'm not gonna lie, some of the people that picked up and left were created a DM campaign and their goal was to try and pull more people away from Mongrel Squad towards their own org to build it up. Can't blame them for that. A lot of their friends were still in Mongrel Squad. They want to play with their friends. There's nothing wrong with that. Some of them had no problems telling lies to achieve that though. Now, I'm not going to get into the whole campaign of trying to prove them wrong, even though they made the effort to try and essentially attack my character, my methodology, and attack the character of others in Mongrel Squad as well. I didn't want to engage in that because the way I see it is that everybody should be playing video games for their own fun. And if you're not having fun doing something, you should stop doing it, especially if it's supposed to be your time or period where you're consuming entertainment. So if you're not having fun playing a video game, stop doing it. If you're not having fun playing a video game with a certain group, don't play with them. Go and, play with other people, which is what these guys did. But, for those who went out of their way to try and, attack and use it as an argument to try and pull people away from Mongrel Squad, there's a few of them. I don't know if, you know, how many of them actually are, but I know that there's a few of them. Those people aren't going to be welcome back on Mongrel Squad. Those who left to play with their friends, you know, I don't blame them for doing that. You know, and I'm happy for them to go and pursue their own gameplay, you know, to pursue their own fun. I'm excited for them from a certain perspective because it's like, you know, they get to start with something new. It's different, you know, there's going to be more challenges ahead of them, you know, there's a lot of potential there for them to have experiences that they may not have been able to get in Mongrel Squad because of the way that we operate, and I'm excited for them in that regard. A little bit sad that they left, but at the same time, they're people with their own motivations and, you know, their own desires. They're not, you know, baseball cards, they're not little fucking precious dolls that I try and keep in a cabinet or anything like that, you know. But if they want to come back, you know, we'll welcome them back. It's up to them if they want to come back or not. I'm not going to try and, you know, coax them back with anything like that because they made a decision. I'm going to respect that decision. If they want to come back, you know, they can. But Mongrel Squad is far from dead. Alright, we still have an NA contingent. And, you know, they've taken, you know, a bit of a beating per se. It's mainly in the Department of Morale because, you know, a lot of their friends left. But those who want to stay with Mongrel Squad, you know, they've stayed and we're rebuilding. These things are going to happen. You know, this is normal for organizations. Once you grow, you know, it's part of the growing pains. People will join you, they'll learn how to play the game, they'll grow with you, your bonds form, and then they get to a point where they're like, hey, I don't like the way this is going, or I think I can do this better, or, you know, like, I just don't like some of the people, I'm going to pick up and go and make my own group, and then they're going to try and pull people with them. Mongrel Squad was founded, you know, by me. There was a few additional people there, but they generally don't play anymore. But the strength of Mongrel Squad has always been that, you know, we've started from rock bottom. We didn't start with, you know, like 20 people from the get-go. We started with, you know, roughly 5, and we've built up since then. People have come and joined us because they've seen what the organization has done as opposed to individuals, and they want to be a part of the organization. Those who left to play with their friends, you know, chose individuals over the org, which is perfectly fine. But it's not a good look for an organization from when they're first starting out that, you know, information that is supposed to be kept internal was exposed, and the channel was proven to be through, you know, those who split off. People are going to question their integrity, and it's not a good launching pad for an organization. I hope that they understand that, and I hope that they resolve that issue and that it doesn't cause them more pain to achieve that. Mongrel 1, yes. Mongrel 1 was the start. But yeah, Mongrel Squad is not dying. We are going through, I would say, a restructure, and it's partially because of the events as a response to them. It's also to support the regrowing of the NA time zone. So that's something that I want a lot of people to understand. I know you may end up, it seems like a lot of content creators don't care, and I'm kind of grateful for that, but there are still people out there that do. So if you do hear something about it and you do have questions, join our public Guilded server and feel free to ask. I'm not afraid of answering questions. You may have different information. If you're coming in there and expecting a fight, I'll just answer the questions as honestly as possible, and if you think that I'm lying, then that's on you. My focus is on growing Mongrel Squad, not, you know, trying to prove people wrong in the sense of like, oh, you said this and now you're doing this. It's like, well, you know, plans change, people change, you know, the future is not set in stone. And if I just stayed rigidly to a single plan, I would be a shit leader. Need to be able to evolve with the times. And sometimes people don't like how things evolve. That's okay. You know, like 3.18, oh correct, 3.18. 3.18 was a really good patch and, you know, a really bad patch. It started poorly, got really good in the middle, and then towards the end it kind of just died off again. 3.19 presents so much more opportunities for us, so much more. You know, the launch of the patch was good in comparison to 3.18. Server stability is still a problem, but, you know, as time goes on, it's going to be resolved. You know, like, this is one of the best times to be a pirate in Star Citizen, man. And that's really what I want to focus on for Mongrel Squad, is like making sure that we're all having a good time. Because at the end of the day, we're playing a video game. Alright, I think that's enough of me on that point. I need to jump off the stream now. It's been over 3 hours. Thank you very much to everyone that's coming along for this, those who have stayed up. Sorry to those who would normally watch this on a Tuesday afternoon for you guys. But, you know, life happens, and that's the situation that I'm currently in. Next stream was supposed to be a Mongrel Corps, but apparently my availability updates didn't get through to my manager, and they still scheduled me on for the days that I needed off. So Mongrel Corps will be sometime next week. Don't know what the topic is yet. Don't even know if I'll still be going ahead with it yet, because it really comes down to my schedule and real life stuff going on. Next week's reaction and rant stream, same situation again, although it's looking like I can angle it to do it on Tuesday afternoon for you guys, so the usual time. If not, I'll let you guys know beforehand on the Mongrel Squad public gilded server. Anyway, that's it from me, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you all next week sometime.